Welcome, my friends, to the Eternal Challenger League Qualifier number 7. We're almost there. The season's almost over. There's going to be one more after this. Of course, the winner of today will be joining the Grand Finals of the Eternal Challenger League. I got to come up with like a catchier name for the Grand Finals. But anyways, guys, let's take a look at the tail of the tape for the day. So for today's bracket, we have Slade X, also known as the Git Crumper, one of the more legendary greenskin players in the Total War Warhammer community. And he's going to be facing off against Subutai, of course, in a best of 3. And the second best of 3 is going to feature Lotus Moon facing off against Energized. So we got some pretty serious games today. Going to be quite a bit of fun. We are, of course, doing the King's Cup rules with a pick and ban system, so pretty much our standard formula here. And of course, the winner, for anyone who doesn't know about the Eternal Challenger League, each week we have a qualifier. The winner then qualifies for our Grand Finals, which we're going to hopefully have some pretty good sponsors and substantial prize pool for. Of course, I'll be putting up some money on my own, but we're going to be going pretty big, trying to get some juicy prizes here. So far, the folks who have qualified, we have Zyphos, El Halcon, Felcon, Romulan Zog, Reja, and Chief last week with one of the best qualifiers. I think the last week, number 6, it's going to be pretty hard to top that. So we're going to see how today goes. Yeah, thank you guys for joining. It's good to see everyone. Yes, yes. So on that note, I think it's about time. Let us jump into our first match. Do we have Palpatine? Oh, I better, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Palpatine, where are you at? We could actually just use this. So hold on. All right. So we're going to do this, and we're going to add in a screen blocker real quick. Just going to grab a random graphic. Let's see here. Yeah, we could just use the actual thing itself. That actually looks kind of nice, doesn't it? So for game 1, it's going to be Git Crumper facing off against Subutai, and it's going to be a classic grudge match. Git Crumper is going to be going with the greenskins, and Subutai is going to be going with the Dawi. So it's the classic one. It's going to be a good showdown. Let me adjust the screen blocker. It looks like it's all good where it is. Let's make it a little bit cleaner there, and I think that's going to be A-okay. So I'm going to let the players know. Good to go. Start when ready. Some friendly banter going on before the game. It is I. Welcome, guys. Appreciated DMS Marine. Kind words. It's going to be good. No, we're just getting started. This is the very beginning. From Burkina Faso. I actually don't know much about that place. Well, thank you for joining regardless, man. We also have a new sponsor here on the channel. We have the Son of Gondor. Not sure if he's in chat, but he did sponsor right before the stream started, so thank you for that, man. 166 watching. There should be 166 likes. Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Flat maps equal... Yeah, this is a relatively flat map, but again, the greenskins, I think greenskins have a pretty substantial advantage against the dwarves. It's just, I mean, they have so many good units. You have the Squig Hoppers, you have Squigs, you have Black Orcs, like you have Nasty Skulkers. All your lore choices are pretty good. I mean, I think greenskins do have the advantage in this matchup. So I'm really actually excited to see what the dwarves do to kind of counterplay that. So for the forces of Git Crumper and Slade X, it looks like he's going to be going with a somewhat traditional army aside from his lord pick. Yes, guys, he's going to be coming in with the meme lord himself. Of course, he is from Clan XMT. He's going to be coming in with Grimgor Ironhide. So Grimgor is not very good. But if there is a faction in which he's going to be okay, is because he can actually catch most Dwarf Lords. So he's going to be able to actually hunt his targets in this matchup. So if there is a matchup for old Grimgor, it's going to be this one. So he does also have the Night Goblin Shaman, Vindictive Glare, Sneaky Stabbin', and it looks like it's going to be Itchy Nuisance. But for the front line, standard stuff, he's got 4 Black Orcs, very, very tough for the Dwarves to handle. Goblins on the flanks, Grimgor in the back, and a lot of mobile troops. Yes, he's got the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, Durkit Squigs, which are very good. Bonus for his infantry, mobile, poison. I mean, they're just made to fight against dwarves. So the Night Goblin Squig Hopper is going to be pretty juicy. He's got Rusty Arrows in the back to sunder some armor, give him a little bit of ranged firepower, just in case the dwarves do go with like gyrocopters or flying a Royal Dawi Air Force. I always get that one wrong. Yeah, if they go with something like that, it's going to be pretty good. Morgub Magi Marauders right here, as well as Goblin Wolf Rider Archers, just to kind of, again, chase gyrocopters, give you backline pressure. Worst case, you charge them in, you knock over some artillery crews, knock over some guns, shut them down temporarily. Even if they don't kill them, it's still a mobile threat. So I definitely like this quite a bit. So that's pretty much it for the forces of the greenskins. Here in the front line, we have miners with blasting charges. In the secondary line, it's going to be dwarf warriors. So going with the classic Dawi Onion. Clearly, Subutai knows what he's doing. And it looks like he's from Clan Goat, which I have not seen anyone from Clan Goat before. So he's going to be the lone champion for today. So 2 gyrocopters going to be dropping some of those hot bombs and their loads all over these greenskins. In the secondary line, long greens with great weapons. So I like this composition already. It has the Dwarf Onion, a little bit lighter on guns. Normally you see about 3 or 4 guns. Usually you don't see 5, but yeah, like 3 or 4. But it looks like he's going to be getting gyrocopters instead of more guns here in the back. And there's also no cannons or artillery. 2 Thunders in the back. Dragonback Slayers, I think they're going to be back here. Yes, and regular Slayers to protect that back line, which is quite important. And he can have a 1-to-1 ratio right now. He essentially has 1 Slayer guarding 1 Thunder. It's going to be good. He does also have a Rune Lord. Rune Lord's going to be coming in with the more efficient ones. Master Rune of Negation plus the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Solid Dwarf army. It's really going to come down to that gyrocopter play. Start when ready. You can see Get Crumper dropping the glorious Wah in chat. Subutai with the growl. I love it. These guys getting into character. This is awesome stuff. Yeah, thank you. Yes, lady. My lovely wife, Lady Turin, is indeed from Poland. We had our anniversary yesterday. It was quite a bit of fun. We went out, did some fun stuff. Feasted like the heathen kings of old, kings and queens of old. Ah, some good water right there. That's good stuff. You can see Get Crumper's actually going to be coming in, or Slade is going to be coming in with a pretty substantial Vanguard. He does actually have the AP Gloonies plus the Rusty Airs and Deep Vanguard back there, and he does also have Dirkid Squigs and Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. Now, if the gyrocopters were to come over here and see these guys, that would be pretty rough. Gyrocopters would probably be able to just pop the Rusty Airs right off the battlefield, but of course he's not going to be seeing them. He's going to be flying forward with the gyrocopters, and Subutai is going to be advancing on the Greenskins, actually. I mean, neither of them have any siege tools or super heavy ranged, like, Goblin Rock Lobbers or Cannons, so they're both pretty much just going to be advancing on each other. First Vindictive Glare does go down. It does graze the hull of that gyrocopter. Not doing a ton of damage, but it looks like he might be going in for a bombing run. Not sure. Honestly, saving the bombs for the late game is usually better when there's like a big blob of greenskin troops, but I think the gyrocopters are going to be going after the Squig Hoppers. I'm not sure where this one's going. It's kind of flying into the Shadow Realm here, but it's going to be parking and shooting Squigs, which is a very good choice. Now in the back, the greenskin harass has begun. You can see that the Goblin Wolf Rider archers are going to be shooting into the back of long greens with great weapons. Their AP is quite terrible, but nonetheless they're shooting into the back of an unshielded unit, so it still is substantial. Blasting Charge is going to be coming down here into the goblins. This is perfect. Blasting Charges are pretty much designed to kill goblins, so it's definitely very solid there. And those guys are going to be taking heavy casualties. So the miners should be able to win this fight against the goblins, having, halved them essentially. I done been halved. You guys, what was that movie? Oh man, that was it was like one of those Ricky Bobby type movies. Oh damn it, what the hell was it? Anyways, Walk Tall or Walk Strong or something. It was like making fun of the Johnny Cash story. Anyways, here in the front, Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin is going to be going down here in the Black Orcs. So this guy's going to be taking a pounding from that. But the first wave of Black Orcs is going to be engaging on these Dwarf Warriors who did not get their counter charge off. Not that it matters too much. They have a charge bonus of like 10 or something. But the Dwarves here are going to be getting crumped pretty good by Black Orcs. Black Orcs are very, very much a hard counter. But again, you just want to soften them up and allow your guns to do the heavy lifting. But look at this. Get Crumper with the very, very good micro is able to get the Squig Hoppers up and around the Slayers, and it looks like he's just all up in the business of these Thunders, which is not good. Thunders are the counterplay to the Black Orcs, and if they're able to kind of get pinned down or at least heavily damaged by the Squig Hoppers, that's going to be a pretty substantial issue. Now, you can see the Slayers do kind of catch these guys. The Squig Hoppers, they got the moves like Jagger. These guys are going around, they're cycle charging troops in the back, and they're taking a little bit of damage. Thunderfire is finally coming in. It's going to be hitting those Black Orcs, but look at this. The Vanguard of the AP Gloonies is going to be sneaking into the back, so finally that deep investment back here is going to be paying off. Slayers will be rushing in to intercept, but Slayers fighting Goblins is not a good choice. Goblins, of course, will lose the fight, but they're going to be able to kind of wear them down for the cost, which isn't a good trade for the Dwarves here. So Slayers are fighting, and it looks like the Warlords, or the AP Gloonies, are actually doing a very good job. Squig Hoppers are able to get into the front. Now, there are some long grids with great weapons, and the Dwarves, oh my god, I just missed this. Grimgor just crumped this Git. God damn. I'm sorry, guys, I missed that. That was brutal. So, the Rune Lord just got karate chops by Grimgor. I don't know how he caught him, but that is very, very nasty. So Get Crumper coming into Grimgor, coming in with the steel chair over here. Look at this guy. He is thick, he is proud, and he is angry. And he's going to be decapitating some dwarves these days, it looks like. But yeah, man, they're going to be throwing karate kicks and everything they have at him. But I don't know. Losing that Rune Lord like that early is pretty disastrous. I mean, if Subutai is able to come back from that, that is going to be very, very impressive. So in the back line, Slayers continuing to fight Night Goblins and actually losing. The AP Gloonies are actually quite strong in combat. They have good combat stats, and they're getting supporting fire from the Rusty Airs, which is quite helpful. Longbeard's Great Weapon's going to be continuing to fight these guys. And man, that is pretty rough. Grimgor really gave the business to that guy, and he's just kind of methodically going around and punishing these Dwarf Lords. The Runesmith should not be in here fighting. I mean, Grimgor himself is taking a lot of damage, and he might actually die, but he certainly paid for himself by taking out this Rune Lord and doing a lot of damage over here. Now, the Dwarves, aside from the back line, The Black Orcs are pushing through, and there's actually some trolls. I didn't actually see the trolls from Get Crumper here, but those guys are going to be pretty strong if left unimpeded, and they're not fighting Slayers. They're fighting a Longbeard, so they have a pretty good fight going for themselves here. There are some Dwarf guns somewhat online. It looks like there's a group of Thunders right here. If they can finish off Grimgor, that might be able to give them an edge back into the game, and if the Dwarves can kind of scrap it out with their Gyrocopters and some good bombs, and you can see the Gyrocopters are landing some much-needed Overwatch fire up here from the skies. But the guns in the back going to be getting jumped by Squigs yet again. Very, very rough stuff. The Squigs coming in, the Goblin Wolf Riders coming in, and that's going to probably be able to break these Dwarves. I mean, it's just kind of a numbers game at this point. And the Wah is going to be going down, so Grimgor letting out a resounding Wah as he emerges victorious from his duel with the Runesmith. Now he's going to be turning his blade onto the Longbeards right here, and the Slayers, of course, are just inundated, swamped by Black Orcs and a lot of other troops here. And I don't know. I just don't think the Dwarves are going to be able to pull this one out, honestly. Gyrocopters, a lot of people like them. I've never been too much of a fan, but I think the biggest thing was his Runelord getting pounded. Had the Runelord been able to live, use all of its Runes of Wrath and Ruin, I mean, it shouldn't have had to fight Grimgor. It could have pulled Grimgor into open field and then just shot him with the guns. There was no reason to fight Grimgor, or get caught by Grimgor. He's a little bit faster than the Runelord, but the Runelord, of course, can slow him with the Rune of Wrath and Ruin if he has to, and pull him into open field and just kind of shoot him, intercept him with Slayers. There's a bunch of other options, but yeah, Grimgor getting onto those targets is really, really not good. So Grimgor is still alive. He's steady with 1,000 HP. Gyrocopters are going to be breaking due to army losses, and that's going to be game 1 to the Get Crumper and Grimgor Ironhide. What a game. That was a ferocious one. And yeah, you could see that Grimgor Ironhide. Man, it's not often I get to say that in the Eternal Challenger League. But today, guys, he's going to be the victor of the first game. And the last of the Slayers are going to be going down, fulfilling their oaths. And that's going to be it. Looks like there's about 7 or 8 of these guys left. And let me have a sip of water. What a game! I mean, Sladex is an extremely good greenskin player. Extremely good. And on top of that, he also he was memeing with Grimgor. But Grimgor, I mean, if there is a place for him to work, it's going to be Dwarves. He's still not as good as, like, Azag or even, pretty much any of the other lore choices, but, I mean, maybe he's better than a War Boss. Like, I mean, the War Boss can ride a Wyvern, though, which is the difference there. I don't know. While the Dwarfs made their armor, Grimgor studied the blade. I love that, Tiamat. That's great, man. All right, so we're going to update the scoreboard. Slade is up 1-0 here. And again, these are best of 3s initially. Get that blocker up, and we're going to be going to game 2. Game 2. I'm just reminding the players it's best of 3. Go ahead and pick away and start when ready. And switch maps too. Man, that was something. I was not expecting Grimgor to come in there. Although before the tournament started, Slade said he was going to be coming in with the glorious meme build. So, I mean, that build was pretty solid against Dwarves. I mean, it's relatively meta with the exception of Grimgor. I mean, that's probably the only thing there that's really off meta. Squigs are really good. I mean, mixing in a troll is kind of a wild pick. It's a pretty vulnerable target against Dwarf guns, but even still, throwing in 1 if you have ample backline pressure can do very, very good work. Yeah, the Gyrocopter damage seems... Yeah, I don't know. Gyrocopters are a weird thing. They can be worth it. Grant... Oh, we got a donation. Thank you so much, Grant Roper. Really appreciate what you do, man. Definitely born to be a broadcaster. Well, I really appreciate that, man. That's some nice words coming in from the Grant man. Hopefully you're enjoying. Hopefully you're enjoying the glorious Grimgor builds. And in game 2, it's going to be on Troll Country. Subutai is going to be going with his... the Goat Clan is going to be playing the Beastmen. I love it. That's so good. So he's going to be playing the Beastmen. And Get Crumper is going to be picking his next faction here. So we'll find out here in just a moment. That was a really fun game to watch. The Spirit of Gorg. Thank you for the 10, man. Hey, Turin, love ECL. Great to catch it today. Quick question. Do you think Chaos is underpowered since they're losing most games on ECL? I think it's just kind of a chance thing. So you're from Austria. Cool, man. I think Chaos is a good faction. Chaos is actually probably my best factions in competitive play are actually Vampire Coast and Chaos. And Skaven probably right now. So I really do think that Chaos is a pretty good faction. I think they have a couple bad matchups versus, namely Vampire Counts. There's a couple other matchups that are a little bit tricky for them, but I still think Chaos is in a good place. They have some pretty good lore choices with the Warp Chicken and Kolek. Pretty good cost-effective infantry for the most part. Good flank pressure, good anti-large with Dragon Ogres. I think they're okay. I don't think they're like an S-tier faction, but I certainly think they're like towards the top. But not like a super top tier, but most things counterpick the BM, he says. So yeah, Get Crumper being quite a gentleman. He says most things counter the Beastmen. And Norska, please. He's like, can I mirror? Oh god. Yeah, and Subutai says Norska. I'm like, oh man, I just do not want to cast a mirror match. Please no. I mean, they're more than welcome to. It's not against the rules or anything, but yeah. Yeah, it's not. Hey, Professor Pipes, thanks for joining today, man. We got the crew's all back together. Got Misha in the house, Dimmy G, all the mods coming in with the steel chairs. Appreciate it as always. The Crucible of the Everchosen. That's pretty good, Tiamat 64. I like that one. The Everchosen is like is kind of the one we do a CA though, and this one is more centered around like Wolfric, like the Eternal Challenger. But Eternal Challenger, man. When I like wake up in the morning, like I cannot enunciate words like I usually can. It's very, very strange. I want to see 5 Chaos vids, all different factions. Well, I actually just played a couple games with Chaos on ladder yesterday. So today it's gonna be Norska versus Beastmen. The Bestial Savage Battle in the Troll Country, which is a small map. It's relatively open field, a little bit of terrain to work with, but these factions don't really care too much about abusing the forest and things like that, at least against one another. Yeah, dwarves have a bad matchup versus beastmen. Beastmen are pretty good against dwarves. They have bestigors, they have chariots, they have razorgore herds. They have a ton of really powerful options. Professor Pone, Wicked D, man, it's time. Kojira Gaming. I am the steel chair. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining today. Yeah, the reason Lady Turn's actually going back to Poland to see her family this Sunday, so we're going to be doing some stuff tomorrow. So I wasn't. I just moved this to Friday essentially, for anyone who's wondering. And after this, of course, we do have another best of 3 followed up by a best of 5 finals. If we look at today's bracket, you can see we're going to be having Lotus Moon facing off against Energize. So Lotus Moon did, of course, qualify for the grand finals last season, where he did lose to Falcon in a 2-1 series. And that was an intense series. Falcon versus Lotus Moon, I think it ended up being, 2-1. It was a really intense game, just like down to the wire. It was like 1-1, game 3. It was like super long and intense. That was a pretty wild game, to say the least. I am a fan of water. Thank you, GSL. Somebody had asked a question about lower tier factions. In competitive play, you basically just kind of measure the tier of a faction by how many bad matchups they have. I think that dwarves have a lot of bad matchups. I think Bretonnia has a fair amount of... I mean, Bretonnia isn't like... Yeah, Bretonnia, dwarves, Beastmen probably. Beastmen got hit really hard by the nerfs. I mean, they're still all good, and in the hands of a good player who knows how to play that faction, they can beat anyone. But I still think those factions are a little bit harder. They have more bad matchups, is what I should say. Dwarves have a lot of hard matchups for sure. Anyone with like a chariot and like decent AP infantry can really give the dwarves a lot of grief just by going super wide with chariots. Yeah, so that's something to think about. Yazardar, let's go wild then. Yeah. I'll be doing a lot of streaming for sure. I'm going to be playing a lot of 40k tabletop. I play in a 40k league, competitive league. It's so much fun. I actually played in a 40k tournament for the first time, and it was like 8 or 9 hours long, and I just was like having such a good time that entire time. I haven't seen Energize play in quite some time, so I'm quite curious to see how he'll do against Lotus. Lotus, of course, has really, from what I've seen in the past couple months, he's really diversified his playstyle. Like a lot of replays and tournaments I've been seeing with him, he's been playing like very non-Lotus builds, right? He's been doing these melee builds and rush builds and really mixing up his playstyle, which I think is pretty good for improving your tournament potential. We got a donation from Mr. Rossano. Big fan from Italy. Keep it up. Hey, man, I'm Italian as well. Cheers. I'm actually half Italian, give or take. My last name is extremely Italian, and my middle name is Turin. Of course, Italian in ancestry. Right on, man. Thank you for joining. Yeah, Lizardmen are a top-tier faction. Lizardmen are like... They're top tier. Yeah, they're really good. I agree with that. I think the Beastmen, Bretonnia, and Dwarves are probably on the lower end of the spectrum, though. They have a lot of bad matchups. I'd have to really think about it. Like, I think that... Yeah, Dwarves are like one of those specialist factions. If you get like a really good Dwarf player, they can like hang with anyone, but nonetheless, it's tough. I don't know what that reference is. Italian Spartacus, thank you for the $2. Firstly, man, hope you're doing well. And he says, you're so offensive, absolutely offensive. I feel like that's like a reference to a movie we've watched or something, and I just don't know it. Yeah, who knows? Misha, are the Italians gathering? Yeah, they are. Imperial Creed, I may go to LVO. I'm going to be going probably, I'd like to, depending on my schedule, I'm going to be going to the Grand Tournament, which is in Texas. That is the one where you have Games Workshop having the first major American tournament. Now, they don't use ITC rules. They use kind of these like Maelstrom of War and kind of like weird rules, but I still think it's going to be fun. So I'd like to go play in that with my Mortarion army. Yeah. Tiamat64 says, my son is currently building his Mortarion for 40k. Me and the missus will do the painting for him later. He's not that confident. Tiamat, dude, Mortarion is my favorite model in all of 40k and also my favorite character to use. I've been playing him in my... Spartacus just said he wanted to say I'm offensive. I'll let the players know. Start when ready. So I've been using my Mortarion in my competitive league. So I'm playing like ITC like lists with Imperial Knights, very, very like competitive Imperial Soups, Eldar lists, and Mortarion has won me so many games. Now, you have to build around him. If you want to play Mortarion, and this is a tip for your son if he's interested in playing Death Guard, you need to get the Death Shroud Terminators. The Death Shroud Terminators are the Guardians of Mortarion. You basically put them next to him, and whenever anybody shoots at him or attacks him in melee, as long as they're within 3 inches, they can actually intercept those attacks. And they're very tanky. They have a 4-up invuln save, so the biggest problem with Mortarion is if you don't go first, you essentially just... He can get shot off the board by like Astra Militarum and these very gunline-heavy factions. But if you have a couple... of the Death Shroud Terminators, and you put them in cover next to Mortarion, they'll have a 1-up save, and they'll also intercept the shot. So he's pretty much guaranteed to survive. I actually run 4 of those typically with Mortarion. And also the other thing is your Mortarion has to be a distraction card effects for something else. I would recommend running a bunch of other gunline units or other pressure units. You need like fast aggressive units or like Forge World Dreadnoughts, like running Contemptor Dreadnoughts or Leviathan Dreadnoughts to follow up suit. So Mortarion charges in, he'll survive turn 1. You'll probably lose your Death Shrouds, but again, then you're going to have the second huge swing back. He'll just come and he'll crump. And last but not least, if you're going to run Mortarion, you have to have warp time. So get a Space Marine detachment or a Chaos Space Marine detachment. Get a Sorcerer or Demon Prince with warp time from Dark Hereticus, or run a Thousand Suns patrol detachment or a support ox, and then just get a Armament on a Disc of Zeech. He can run up, he can warp time him, he gets a +1. It's really, really good. That would be my 2 cents, but yeah, I just had really good success against some pretty high-level players with Mortarion this season, so I recommend him. All right, guys, and now we're here in the battle. Back to Total War Warhammer. Let me get rid of the screen blocker as I went on my 40k rant, but I'll be doing videos and guides on Death Guard eventually. Yeah, it'll be fun. So, for Git Crumper here in the front line, he's going to potentially be crumping some beasts. He does, of course, have Marauders on the flanks, but going to be going in pretty deep with Berserkers, which are very good against all the Beastmen infantry, with the exception of Bestigors. Bestigors will pound them pretty hard, but aside from that, they have a really good matchup. And you can see here, there's going to be a ton of meat for them to cut through. You have Goreherds, you have Ungors, you have a lot of very squishy stuff. In the secondary line, we have a couple of groups of Marauder Hunters with Javelins. We do have a Firecaster as well, so Fireball, good against Beastmen, especially Morker, Cascading Fire Cloak, and no, it's actually going to be Flaming Sword, Burning Skull, and Fireball. Yeah, good stuff. We got some Ice Trolls in the back, 2 groups of the Hounds, and another group of Norscan Trolls, so a very aggressive army. This army's just going to be getting in there with the Berserkers, putting the Trolls on the armor targets, casting the fire spells to really augment the damage of the front line. It's going to be juicy. Plus, I really like the Javelins to go against Minotaurs and things like that. It is a very nice Norscan army. And on the ground, we do have Wulfric the Wanderer coming in with his beard here, looking quite proud. Pretty good stuff. So for the armies of the Beastmen, there's going to be a substantial vanguard. Subutai is on the ropes. He's down 1 game after a pretty good first game, but alas, Grimgor Ironhide was able to cleave his troops here. He does have these Centaurs with not great weapons, so you don't really need him against Norsk. Honestly, these ones are a little bit better, so I do like that choice. Centaurs and Poison Hounds going to be collapsing on the flank. Front line just chaff. Ungor Spearman Herds are going to get pounded into the Shadow Realm by those Berserkers, to say the least. Goreherds, Blackhorn Ravagers, Goreherds here. In the third line, he does also have Ungor Raiders, a couple of groups of Bestigors on the flanks, which are probably going to be a saving grace. The Bestigors on the far side, plus these Koroks Manrippers here, are probably going to be the best thing for him. He does, of course, have Morker the Shadowgave, and if he doesn't have a caster, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed, to say the least. So Morker here, and okay, he has a Beastcaster with Manticore Summon, which, despite the nerfs, is still quite good. But again, the nerfs to summons really hurt the Beastmen. It affects Chaos Bond, Cygor Summons, and Manticores, which are pretty much the staple of competitive play. So I don't know. I feel like based on the armies I see, I think the Norscan army is going to be able to really crump this army. But again, I still think that with good micro from the Centaurs and good cycle charging, the backline pressure, he still could pull the game out. It's certainly not over by any stretch of the imagination, but I think just based on what I see, it's going to be pretty good. Yeah, for Norsca here. This is the second match of the day, first best of 3. The next one will, of course, be energized, facing off against Lotus Moon. Those fine gentlemen are getting ready in the lobby. You guys haven't missed it. Yes, yes. And I'll let them know they can start when ready. Git Crumper says ready. Just making sure both players making their final adjustments. The Gate Crumper does also have a Vanguard of the Beast of Tashnar in the back. You can see him way off in the snowy lands here. Probably going to be collapsing on some of these archers. So hopefully Subutai is aware of this and has some defense for the back line here. That one group of hounds could really cause a lot of discord in his back line. You can see over here, the Centaurs plus the hounds are going to be sweeping around immediately. And honestly, they could just collapse on these guys on the flank and just kind of overwhelm and crash on the flank. You don't necessarily always have to get into the back like this. Like getting Centaurs and hounds collapsing on these Marauders with these Spearmen fighting them from the front, you'll kill them very quickly. So the Ungor Raiders do have 115 range against the 90 of the Marauder Hunters, so there's certainly some decent range potential here. Berserkers are going to be taking a couple shots, and they'll weather those shots relatively well because this front line is going to be a massacre. The Berserkers are going to kill these Ungors like in a matter of like probably 20 or 30 seconds. Fighting's underway here. Take a look here. You can see that it's a pretty one-sided affair. The Berserkers have taken a little bit of damage, but the Ungors are going down very quickly. And the Javelins are going to be throwing into the Blackhorn's Ravagers, who do have shields. In the back line, some of the Berserkers do actually slip through, and the Archers are already compromised. That's really not good. Subutai needs to grab these guys. He needs to run, pull the Vestigors in, smash these Berserkers with the charge bonus of the Vestigors, and get those Raiders back, because letting those guys go that early is not good. Now, in the front line, the Goreherds actually do very well versus the Brutes of the Hound. Manticore Summon is going to be coming in, and over here, Subutai does have the good play. He gets the Koroks Man-Nerfers with Manticore support into the Berserkers, and they should be able to easily win that matchup. Granted, it looks like the Goats are going to be rushing over here to try and get a 2-for-1 intercept, and they actually do. Oh, look at that. Man, Morker summoning Chaos Spawn and destroying those Berserkers. So the Beastmen actually coming out okay here, but the Hounds collapsing in the back. These two groups of Raiders going down is going to be very disastrous for them. Now, in the front line, the Trolls are fighting. Some Chaos Spawn and Morker are going to be holding, but I feel like the front line for the Beastmen is really just giving out very quickly. I mean, aside from this one area, and you can see the Chaos Spawn doing pretty good, but of course, being a summoned unit, they are going to be disappearing relatively quickly, so it's not going to be super impactful. Over here on the flank, Marauders are going to be chasing off the Destroyers of Drakwald and these Goreherds, so a little bit of a 2-for-1 trade right there. In the meantime, the Bray Shaman is going to be stroking his Jagged Dagger and maybe getting a second Manticore Summon. I believe he's only used one so far. Now, the Bounce Fire is relatively even here. Yeah, the Beastmen are holding the main line. The Blackhorn's Ravagers are pretty strong, but once the Chaos Spawn disappear here, a nice little Fireball coming down from the Shaman, which does actually slap Morker in the face, does some pretty good damage. Beastmen do respond with the Flock of Doom, but once the Chaos Spawn really start to dissipate and disappear, and the Manticores disappear, I feel like the Bounce Power is going to be heavily in the favor of Norse guys. The backline is just pretty much theirs. Berserkers back here, full health. Hounds are just feasting on the souls of these Ungor Raiders. We have the Norscan Ice Trolls, which have been kept in reserve. Granted, he does not want to send them in here. These are the Koroks Man-Nerfers. These guys are designed to pretty much just beat down Trolls. So yeah, he needs to be careful. The Trolls need to go elsewhere, I think. In the meantime, some of the Marauders are going to be attacking the Koroks Man-Nerfers, which isn't a bad trade. I mean, they are halberd units, so they're not going to kill infantry super quick. And the Trolls thinking about getting in there. It looks like they're going to be punting some of the Koroks Man-Nerfers on their way through to the main fight, but it looks like Norska is in good shape, like I said. They have full health Berserkers back here. They have Trolls just piling in. I mean, the Beastmen could have a war of attrition with the Koroks Man-Nerfers, but even still, you can see they're getting crumped pretty bad. Actually starting to take some substantial damage from some of these Norscan infantry. And the Norscan Trolls, if they stand on top of the other infantry and don't get focused down by the halberds, they're going to be able to beat them down pretty badly. Norscan Trolls have really good armor piercing. Now, the bounce power is relatively even. You can see the Feral Manticore Summon is going to be keeping the Beastmen in the game in regards to the bounce of power, but we do have the Beasts of Tashnar here. They have anti-large, and they're pretty good against Manticores. The Beastmen coming in with a bit of a reserve army here, though. You can see that the Vestigors are going to be piling in, but look at this. Morker the Shadowgave getting slapped up pretty good by Wolfric there in that pocket. But he's going to be healing, of course. He does have the capabilities of healing himself with the regeneration. It's not called anything cool. It's just called regeneration. So he's going to be topping off, potentially, if the battle goes on very long and he just kind of waits on the periphery. But, ooh, but a nice fireball coming in. And the fireball slaps Morker, doing another 300 or 400 damage right there. Very, very good stuff here. Beautiful play here by the Git Crumper. And now he's going to be chasing off the Bray Shaman. And the Bray Shaman is shattered, actually. Man, that's brutal. So the Beastmen don't really have too much left. They have some Centaurs, they have some Vestigors, they do also have Goreherds here in the main pocket, but Norska has a ton of Berserkers. They have the Trolls, which are going to be healing. They have Warhounds just reaving the battlefield, just attacking anything that's left alone. And it looks like that's going to be all she wrote. I don't think there's going to be any chance for the Beastmen to come back at this point. Subutai has put up a good fight for sure, but Git Crumper obviously very good at these savage greenskin-esque factions. And you can see the Norse Control is going to be jumping in, and that is probably going to be it. Morker is going to be getting clubbed by a bunch of Trolls, and with that, he gets sent into army losses. So well played to Subutai. He played a great game. Git Crumper obviously a super solid player, Subutai as well, but alas, the fate of the, or I guess the will of the Dark Gods was on the side of the Git Crumper today. No Mammoth today. No Mammoth. So that's going to be 2-0 for Slade X, and Slade is going to be advancing to the finals. We'll let him know that he can go ahead and make the lobby. GG, guys. Slade in finals. Post final lobby, please. All right, so well played to Subutai. I believe this is the first time he's ever played in the Eternal Challenger League. And yeah, we're going to be seeing Slade X in the Grand Finals here. So now we're going to be jumping over to the next lobby. Let me make sure I can find it. Aha! There we go. It is time. Beastmen can... you need to bring Vestigors in that matchup. Going with like a Chaffee front line is not going to hold against Berserkers. I honestly think the Beastmen have an okay matchup against Norska, but you got to be careful there. All right, so let's get the blocker up. Let's adjust these scoreboards and get the names all set. So Energized is going to be on the right side here. And we're going to see if he's energized today. We're going to find out. That was terrible. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And here we go. Oh my god, I'm just like mangling the spacing of the names. It's so terrible. All right, so that's looking good. Let us go ahead and update the bracket for the day. So Slade X is going to be moving on to the finals to face the winner of Lotus Moon here in Energized in this best of 3 series. So let us jump back in and let them know. Start when ready. So Energized is going to be playing Lizardmen. Now Lizardmen versus Dark Elves, I mean, Lizards are a top tier faction for sure. They can hang with anyone, so I'm really eager to see what he does. I feel like Energized should probably bring... I mean, maybe even like a solar engine, because Lotus Moon, of course, likes to play really kitey builds, so having something to pull him in is always going to be super strong. But like I said, Lotus Moon has really been diversifying his playstyle. I've been watching a couple of his streams, as well as him playing in other tournaments with replays, and he's been doing very different builds, like not what you would expect from him for sure. Spartacus, this is offensive. Yes. Oh man. What's with the lack of likes? Thank you, Misha. Appreciate it. Yeah, if you guys are enjoying the content, drop a like. If not, no worries. Just happy to have you guys here. All right. The battle's underway. Screen blocker is going to be getting dropped here in just a second. Thank you, Ikit Claw into Henowin. Slade gets dodged a lot. Are you saying on ladder? Because he's very good? The Spirit of Gorg dropping a $2. He says, go Lotus, only one who can take down Falcon. Well, you know, I think there's a lot of players who are going to give... I mean, it's going to be... The finals this time around has a lot more competitive players, I think. It's this season has been very, very heated. But yeah, I mean, certainly capable. That was a really good series. Seeing Lotus Moon play against Falcon in the Grand Finals last time, that was just an intense game. Yeah, you know, that's the thing about Lotus Moon, too. Like, you think it's him, right? You're like, it's Lotus. He's going to bring, like, mass repeater crossbows, no infantry. But like now that he plays these different play styles, it becomes really stressful because like you have to respect his really good style of play, but at the same time, it's like he's playing different now. So you kind of have to be ready for that. Spartacus coming in with the fat $2. Like the stream. It's a digital fist bump. So it's going to be Energized facing off against Lotus Moon, who's going to be playing, under his correct name here. But let's take a look at the forces of the Lizardmen. So it's going to be Saurus Warriors with shields in the front line here, which of course are pretty good against most Dark Elf infantry. They'll lose against Harganeth and probably Blackguard, but aside from that, they'll win all the other matchups. He does also have a Bastillodon with the Solar Engine, so going to be using this to pull in the forces of the Dark Elves. I mean, it's not going to do a ton of damage, but at the very least, it gives you kind of the comfort of knowing your opponent has to come to you. And now the Dark Elves can bring repeater bows and things like that to kind of oh, I'm sorry for that. Or the, what are those called? Reaper Bolt Throws, but yeah, still, I think it's a pretty good choice here. So we do also have a High Mage Slan who has Tempest, Apotheosis, and Arcane and Forging, all of which will be pretty good against Malekith. Arcane and Forging will shut down his magic, and Tempest will lock him in the skies. He does also have a couple groups of the Chameleon Skinks, and in the back line, we have Temple Guard on the flanks, Skink Cohorts with Javelins, and then Cold One Spear Rider. So pretty tight little lizard army. Now for the forces of Lotus Moon on the flanks, we have Cold One Knights, Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, 2 groups of those, which are pretty much a staple against dinos. I think they're very, very good. And you can also see here, Lotus Moon is going to be coming in with Shades with Great Swords. Now, this is a very unorthodox pick here. Perhaps they're brought in to deal with like Temple Guard and things like that. They have good AP with their ranged attacks, and if they fight Temple Guard up close with their great weapons, they can probably do a ton of damage. A really cool niche pick here by Lotus Moon. So 2 Shades with great weapons. Now, aside from that, he does have a fair amount of infantry by his standards. He does have a couple of groups of the Dread Spears, a Sorceress with Beast with the Manticore Summon, and Malekith up in the skies, of course, is probably going to have Soul Stealer and Power of Darkness. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So the Dinos do have the initiative. If they want to play conservative and just use their solar engine, they totally can. Energize here can simply get the solar engine, start shooting at the shades. That's what I would do. Just kind of use the skinks to get line of sight on the shades and then just shoot them with the solar engine. That's going to be pretty good. In the meantime, Energize can simply screen out the cav using the skink cohort. So far he has a pretty good defensive little army right here. And the solar engine's going to be scooting up. I do not know. How is this thing not in range yet? The solar engine needs to be shooting just right now, 100%. Why isn't it shooting? Shoot now. And the Chameleon Skink's going to be poking a little bit, shooting back against some of the Spearmen, but the Saurus are going to be advancing. And the Saurus are going to be a bit of an issue. There's not a ton of stuff in the army aside from Malekith that's going to be super good against those guys. Apotheosis is going to be going down on these little Chameleons, and I do not know why this Bastillodon is not shooting. I mean, it should be in range right now. I mean, even just shooting at Dread Spears and things like that isn't a bad idea. Just get your value where you can. On the flanks, Lotus Moon is doing some pressure with the Dark Riders with their repeater crossbows. Cold Wind Knights might be thinking about a charge here. I mean, they could easily kill these skinks probably. Are these just standard Cold Wind Knights? Yeah, they are. They're just the anti-large one. Okay. So they could push in here and easily probably clean these guys up if they want to. So Lotus Moon pulling these guys a little bit out of position, going to be getting that juicy charge right here, and you can see the skinks are not going to be happy about this. Now, they're going to be able to hold most likely, but still, they're taking a lot of firepower, probably going to be wavering here in a moment. You can see they're shaking. Now, they do have a little bit of support from the skink cohorts, but for the most part, very detached from the main Lizardman army. Now, very good stuff here from the Bastillodon. Energize getting some really good shots here into the Slaanesha's Harvesters, blasting those guys into the Shadow Realm, already taking out 5 models and doing some very good HP damage. Now, in the back, you can see the Skink Chief. This is probably where Energize is focusing most of his micro, just kind of flying around the back, poking. And so far, it's a very even game. The Skink Chief has done some really good damage against the Sorceress, and you can see that the Slaanesha's Harvesters are getting blasted. So both players going back and forth. Over here, Lotus Moon has done a very good job kind of collapsing his flank, getting some freebies on this side of the battlefield. However, the Skink Chief plus the Focus Fire from the Bastillodon has also done quite good. And it looks like the Cold Wind Spear Riders are going to be taking that fight versus Slaanesha's Harvesters, but there is going to be a Soul Stealer and a Word of Pain going down, plus another counter charge. Arguably worth it. Killing Slaanesha's Harvesters is a really good grab, but both players are going to be taking some casualties there, as that Solar Engine's doing a really good job this game. Beautiful stuff. But more importantly, in the back, the Skink Chief is just going to be sitting and shooting at the Sorceress. And let me make sure no players had a question. Yeah, they're just asking if they could go. But yes, the Skinks should probably fall back here. They're going to be getting swarmed by Malekith and the Slaanesha's Harvesters. I think the Energize maybe should send some Saurus up here to help out a little bit. And the Solar Engine is going to be blasting over here into the Dark Riders. I bet you right now he's like, I wish I brought another Solar Engine. This thing is doing so good for me right now. But even though it doesn't have a ton of kills, it's done really good damage. Now, the Dread Spears are going to be taking this frontline engagement. They're going to be getting killed rather quickly. The Saurus should be able to kill him, but Lotus Moon, knowing this isn't a good engagement, is going to be falling back here, which is a very, very good choice. Fall back, use your cav, use your mobility, hammer these guys. Do not take that straight fight. But it looks like a Manticore Summon is going to be getting dropped here, the first of 2. Now, I wonder if it's going to be going after the big Toad back here. The Toad is going to be hiding amongst his Temple Guard, which is a good choice. It's going to be able to fend off Malekith. Temple Guard obviously would be very good against him. So the Skink Chief still flying in the skies, cackling, trolling. The Shades are running about half ammunition, and you can see the Beastcaster here is very beat up, about 40%, 30% HP. In the back, there's going to be a huge charge coming in from the Cold Wind Knights, and a nice little breath attack coming in as well from Malekith. But, the Toad should be able to hold here with the Temple Guard, and also the help from the Feral Bastillodon, or not Feral, but from the Solar Engine. So very, very close game by both players. Loving this matchup. Seems to be pretty evenly matched here. Now, Lotus Moon coming in with a beautiful charge here from the Dark Riders, able to collapse on the Skinks. That is a really good grab, getting that fat 2-for-1 right there. The Dark Riders, of course, aren't super powerful in melee, but with the Manticore helping and the Cold Wind Knights, they should be okay. Saurus and company are going to be chasing down the spears, and it looks like they're finally going to catch some of those guys. And some of these Saurus might be able to actually kill this caster here. If Energized is paying attention, the Saurus will easily be able to kill that Sorceress, which is going to be a very nice catch for him. In the meantime, Malekith, oh man, Malekith takes a beating. He actually lands, and the Temple Guard give him the business. Plus that Arcane and Forging doing so much damage. The Bounce Fire is a little bit in the favor of the Dark Elves, slightly, but that's only because of the Feral Manticore, if I'm not mistaken. And it looks like there's going to be a Tempest going down as well, which is going to damage Malekith and also slow him. And some of the Skink Javelins are going to be poking him. Cold Wind Knight's going to be countercharging here. And the Skink Chief is still in good shape. Saurus in the distance are going to be chasing these guys off, which isn't bad. I mean, even though they're not able to catch these guys, just keeping them away from the battle, especially these Shades, it's actually a really good trade there. So the Sorceress with Beast, did she actually die? It looks like the Dark Elves did lose that Sorceress, but again, I think she got all of her Manticore summons off, and it looks like this is pretty much the final battle right here. So Lotus Moon committing a lot to this fight. He's sending in Cold Wind Knights against Temple Guard, though. I mean, oh man, but that firepower is pretty nasty. Right here, I think Energize needs to grab some of these Saurus and chase these guys off. Those guys are doing so much work. The Salon is going to be getting jumped by Malekith here. This is going to be dangerous. Soul Stealer going down as well. Very, very good cast right there. Temple Guard are holding the pocket. The Banishment doing a little bit of work, and these Skinks are valiantly holding off the Shades here. But I think the Temple Guard might be able to hold this. It really depends. If the Salon goes down to Malekith, I think that's going to be game blouses. But Malekith's also taking a ton of damage, and the Feral Manticore for the Dark Elves is going to be disappearing here in a second. Man, very, very close game by these two players here. And you also have to take into account this fight over here. I mean, the Saurus are going to clean up shop once they do eventually catch those guys. And yeah, the Spearmen do not want to take that fight. They just want to kite those guys out and then wait for Malekith to kind of clean up over here potentially, and then they'll be free. Now, the Skink Chief is also another hero. He's been able to just pick on the caster, and now he can simply sit on Malekith and shoot him with his darts the entire game, and he's probably honestly going to be able to kill him. If the Slann Mage does have another, what's it called, Arcane Unforging, that's going to be extremely punishing, and I think Malekith will potentially be going down here. So the Toad is good. He's in okay health. It looks like there's going to be a Blood Statuette of Spite going down on the Cold One Knights. And right now, this is a good play here from the Dark Elves. Going back here and actually just cleaning up all these Saurus for free with Malekith and your Cav, I think is going to be a pretty good option. Granted, there still is pretty good firepower here from the Bastillodon. He's going to be able to shoot. And the little Skink Chief, he needs to chase down Malekith. Like, he needs to just hunt him. Yeah, he needs to feast on his soul. So over here, the Cold One Knights are going to be fighting against Saurus. Good stuff here, just kind of doing some cycle charging. Saurus, of course, are going to be pretty good against these guys. I mean, like, even still, Saurus are pretty meaty with their 50+ weapon strength. Oh no, the Skink Chief getting caught by Malekith. He needs to pull back. In melee, he'll still lose this. Malekith is incredibly powerful in melee, and you can see he's already taking huge damage. A little bit of a slip up here from Energize that may cost him the game, honestly. The Skink Chief could have gotten a pretty free kill on Malekith had he just circled him and fought him, but it looks like he's going to be getting a little bit greedy, trying to finish him off here, and he's going to be breaking. Now, if he does come back and gets like an Apotheosis, he could still be, you know, a playmaker. On top of that, Energize does also have a Bastillodon with the Solar Engine, some Temple Guard left, and he probably has another Arcane Unforging coming up. That's going to be big. So you can see the Slann Mage. If he gets a Tempest here, that would actually be really good. Like a Tempest would be able to lock him down. In the meantime, the Saurus are still in the hunt, chasing. They're actually tired, and the Dread Spears are active. So it looks like the cardio of the Elves is a little bit better than the Lizardmen, it would seem. But that makes sense. That seems pretty lore friendly. So the Skink Chief is back. He's back online. The Solar Engine still has pretty ample ammunition. Temple Guard are doing their thing, kind of going after these guys. And the Shades are going to be shooting into some of the Saurus right here. Saurus piling in. They do, of course, have shields, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to corral these Dark Elves. They have a relatively mobile army, but honestly, just kind of running them out of ammo isn't going to be a terrible idea. And the Lizardmen do have this nice little core here. They have like a nice little force that's going to be able to move forward. They have Skink still to kind of poke the skies. Saurus, in the meantime, are just forming ranks right here. I guess they're going to be resting. I mean, they probably should start chasing these guys so that when the rest of the army collapses, they can finish them off. But the Skink Chief, he needs to be an MVP right here. Honestly, I'm trying to think where I would go. If I was a Lizardman army, I would probably go over in this direction, yeah. I mean, over here, there's like some value, but for the most part, these Saurus should be able to kind of hold and troll. I mean, there's still 50 or 48 of these guys, and they have 2,000 HP. So the Skink Chief's going to be going back in. I wonder what the Winds of Magic situation is looking like for the Lizards. That's going to be a big determining factor. These two groups of Saurus are going to be coming around here. And of course, Lotus Moon is going to continue to shoot with his Dark Rider. So he's still attacking. He's still going after these Saurus Warriors over here. And so far, this is 0-0. This is the first game. This is the best game. People in chat are asking Slade how he's going to win with just more than 3 factions because he just plays greenskins is what people are saying. That's really funny. So the Saurus here are getting a little bit beat up. They're wavering, but Saurus have very good leadership. That's something that's very cool about Lizardmen in general is they have high leadership across the board. The Skink Chief coming back, doing what he should have been doing this entire time. Now, he needs to avoid the Shade Fire. Malekith is getting very, very low, but the Shades are going to be shooting him, and if he just sits still, he's going to get melted. Ooh, man. Energize does notice this at the last second, but he does take that full volley to the face. Looks like he's going to be coming home to the country roads. And Apotheosis is going to be going down, which I'm curious how much this will heal for. So it looks like it's still going about 400 or 500 HP, give or take, which is pretty good. Certainly can't complain. Now, there's a lot of Saurus left. They need to collapse on these spears right now just to kind of open things up. The Solar Engine shooting at Malekith is really going to force the issue. Lotus Moon is not going to be able to kind of reposition anymore. He's going to have to get in and fight, because otherwise this Solar Engine is just going to pop him in the face. Skinks, in the meantime, going to be screening out the Shades. Saurus are coming in. Things are about to get down and dirty. And you can see here, Lotus probably going to be taking this fight because he does have a bit of a surround. Gaze of Malice going to be coming down, and he's going to be jumping in probably with Malekith. Oh, look at that. Nice gaze right there. But, you know, Energize is on the hunt. He's got that fat Slann. He's got that Solar Engine. This has probably been one of the most cost-effective Solar Engines I've seen in quite some time. It's just been a terror in the night. So it looks like right here, there's going to be a Soul Stealer going down for Malekith, which is going to be getting him some fat healing. And is he still healing up? Looks like he is. We'll probably get back up to about 1,000 HP, but the Saurus are fighting now. He is able to get some really good damage on those guys with the rear charge, but they're going to be able to grind pretty efficiently. Balance of power is a little bit in the favor of the Dinos. Remember, guys, this is a best of 3, so there's certainly going to be other games here. Malekith getting a nice breath attack on the Skink Chief. Is he broken? He's wavering. -4, -10, and he does break. Apotheosis is coming down to the Skink Chief. Probably will come back one more time. That Apotheosis being considered. In the meantime, these Skinks are going to be going in, probably going to be shooting at Malekith, I would imagine. But the Dark Elves are kind of pulling this game back a little bit. Saurus need to... Well, man, these Shades shooting at the Toad could actually be quite disastrous. The Dark Elves able to collapse his formation pretty efficiently. Temple Guard are going to be pretty tough to kill, for sure. I mean, they're going to be efficient against all these guys, but the Slann also needs to be quite careful to make sure he doesn't get his bread buttered. That would be very, very bad there. So, Shield of the Old Ones is going to be going down, giving that sweet, sweet ward save right there. Shades are shooting. He might be coming in. Malekith might actually be coming in for the Alpha Strike here. The Skink Chief needs to help. These aren't Temple Guard. These are Saurus, and they're not going to be quite as good against Malekith, but... Oh, look at this Slann with the jukes! Energized dropping those sick jukes with the Slann right there, dodging out some of the shots from the Shades, and it looks like these Solar Engines actually getting into melee combat, and it's going to be chasing down the Shades. Now, Malekith, this is a little bit dangerous, because Malekith can simply go after the Solar Engine. I think I would have preferred to see the Solar Engine just continue to shoot at Malekith, but even still, very, very close game right here. Up in the skies, the Skink Chief continuing to shoot Malekith. He has 842 HP. He's getting a little bit beat up here. And it looks like a Tempest is going to be going down, so the Slann has probably been saving this all game. Tempest actually does damage as well. So it does hit Malekith, doing a little bit of damage. He's at 500 HP, but it looks like he's able to escape that a little bit, taking some darts from the Skinks here. Probably going to be wavering, but the Dark Elves actually doing very well in the infantry fight. There are some Saurus coming back in. Malekith, you know, if the Dinos want to win, he needs to go down. That's pretty much the last lifeline here. The Shades are out of ammunition, but these Shades do have great weapons, so they are going to be able to hurt these guys. All in Malekith, if he could actually kill this Toad, I think he could come back and potentially win this game. Now, I think the Toad should just turn around and fight. Oh, he's getting in there. The thickness is going to slap him. 99 HP here. Oh, is this Slann going to kill Malekith? He needs to be spam clicking right here. Cold-blooded, Apotheosis going down. Is the Slann going to get through? Malekith has pretty good melee defense of 52. No guarantees. 1200 HP. Wow, this is close. 95 HP. The Slann, of course, is so much weaker than Malekith in melee combat. 88 HP. Oh my god, can the Slann kill him? 88 HP on Malekith. 80 HP, he's getting so incredibly low. The Slann is about to die, though. Temple Guard are going to be surging in, and the Slann actually breaks, but it looks like Malekith is going to be breaking too, as he's very low. He has 43 HP. Some of the Skinks are getting that nice Overwatch fire. Malekith has 43 HP. Oh, the Solar Engine. The Solar Engine needs to shoot. He has the ammunition. Anything, any tap will kill Malekith. I know the Temple Guard are going to be getting in there. I still think the Dinos are probably going to win this game. They have the Saurus Warriors with shields beating down these Shades, which is quite a good engagement here. Dread Spears are going to be chasing down that fat Toad right there. The Toad tried, but Malekith has 52 melee defense, and the Toad has 24 melee attack, so his chances of actually hitting Malekith are extremely low. The Bastiladon with the Solar Engine is going to be chasing those guys off. There are some Dread Spears in the distance, but the Shades are actually putting a hurt on these guys. Wow. The Shades with Grey Weapons doing an amazing job. I could be wrong. I mean, the Temple Guard are pretty strong, but the fact that Malekith lives is pretty disastrous. Especially, oh my god, 10 HP. There's 10 HP on Malekith. Oh my god. And the Shades with Grey Weapons are actually performing extremely well. They're punching through a lot of the armor here. If this Solar Engine gets broken, that's game. He needs to run. I mean, 0 leadership here on the Great Swords. He might be able to tear out these guys, and the Solar Engine actually breaks. I think the Dark Elves might be able to win this now. Simply because he didn't finish off Malekith. I think that if that Solar Engine had shot at Malekith, oh my god. Bring it down, bring it down. Temple Guard coming back in. There are a couple Skinks on the periphery. But the Shades with Great Swords just doing the work of Cain. 10 HP on Malekith. Absolute, just ludicrous stuff. Temple Guard, we have 51 Temple Guard left, a couple groups of Skinks. In the distance, it looked like these Skink cohorts were able to chase these guys off the edge of the map, which is pretty great. Oh my god, this game is really good. Malekith has 10 HP. He has 10 HP, this is insane. So the Skinks have 1 volley left. They're going to be coming in and trying to snipe out Malekith for sure. I think had the Bastiladon not chased those Shades and had just sat and shot Malekith, I think this game would probably be over. Just, I mean, when you're playing good players like Lotus, every little thing counts, right? Like, because he's going to be scrapping to the bitter end. So this is crazy. So the Temple Guard here are back in business. We got 51 models here. It's going to be the Temple Guard versus the world here. Shades are closing in. They do have a little bit of ammunition left. But the longer the Dark Elves take to attack this Lizardman force, the more time he has to get his Skinks and other troops back together. Because again, he has some troops over here on the... Those guys do break. Temple Guard are going to be chasing them down. Malekith cannot fight. I mean, it's really going to come down to can the Shades beat the Temple Guard? If the Shades are able to beat the Temple Guard with their great weapons, that's going to be probably enough, honestly. This is so intense. This is so intense. So Temple Guard are continuing to chase here. The longer this fight takes, the better for the Lizardmen because they're getting these skinks back. If he's able to, you know, isolate these skinks and kill them before they unify, I mean, everybody's going to count in this battle here. Everybody's going to count. So the Dread Spears are going to be taking this fight. Probably want to make sure you save your ammo on this Chameleons to shoot Malekith. Those guys shatter, so that's pretty good for Energize. He's able to get a shatter there. There's still a full health group of Dread Spears that Lotus Moon has forgotten about, it looks like. But if the Skinks get one volley on Malekith, he's done for. And Lotus Moon knows this. It's more of a thing like if Malekith dies or flees, there will be a leadership penalty to the rest of his army. So now the Dinos have unified their forces, and it looks like the Skinks might be thinking about going in. They need to save their ammo for sure. Oh no, and they used their last bit of ammunition here onto the Dread Spears. That is a huge mistake. Damn, that could cost them the game as well. Because those guys should have just been sitting back here and waiting for Malekith to come in. Now the Shades are going to be shooting. Temple Guard are shielded, and the Shades only have one volley left, so it's going to be pretty insignificant to say the least. The Chameleons are at -4 leadership. They're breaking, which Malekith could potentially just chase him and get freebies at this point. So these Shades have one volley left. So yeah, he's going to be shooting here in a second. Probably going to be focusing his Temple Guard right here. I do not believe he has any breath attacks left. No, he is out of breath attacks. I'm just waiting my Spear units to come. Let's see here. Yeah, let me let him know. You have to attack. I believe both players do. All right, cool. So the final battle's here. He has a little bit of ammo left. I wonder if he's going to use it. I mean, he does have his Spear units coming in. Both players technically need to attack right now. I'm not quite sure. I think the Skinks are out of ammo, but it looks like they stabilize, which is good because they do have poison. Yeah, this is a first match. Yeah, first match here. So the last volley is going to be going out here. And that is it. Now, technically, I guess both players have to attack. I'm not quite sure how that works if like both players are in that situation. Malekith with 10 HP. I mean, Temple Guard have pretty impeccable leadership. They could hold out and win this one. But you can see here, Lotus Moon is going to be moving in. He's going to be trying to get that engagement. Dinos, yeah, Dinos can just sit still, honestly, and use that charge defense. I mean, charge defense against large foes, I mean, it's not going to be super pertinent. And it's really funny because Lotus actually forgot about those Dark Riders. If those guys came back, it would be like probably just guaranteed over. Because they could rear charge and break the leadership of the Skinks and then just fully surround the Temple Guard. So, fight is underway here. Malekith up in the skies, cackling. Shades and Spears coming in. Spears are going to be taking the... Yeah, someone has to attack. I mean, they're both kind of chilling, so... Yeah. So, he says the Spears at the attack have a back... the Spears in the back have an attack order, which makes sense. So, Spears are going to be coming in. They're moving. He's attacking. Temple Guard are probably going to countercharge him, but the thing is like the Skinks in the back, I don't know how long they're going to be able to hold. Maybe sending the Skinks in to actually fight the guys in the front. Shades are collapsing on this side. Shades with Greatswords are attacking here. They're weary of battle. Yeah, they are. So Temple Guard here, they should countercharge. They still have a charge bonus of 14, which isn't insignificant. But it's really just going to be Temple Guard versus the world. So Temple Guard are going to be surging in. The problem is Temple Guard are going to kill Dread Spears very slowly, plus Shades are collapsing on their flank. Like, the Shades are going to be a big issue here. The Chameleons do shatter. Malekith isn't really going to be able to fight. Lotus Moon has still forgot about the Dark Riders. Those guys would be huge. But you know what's really... I mean, this is not how Lotus used to play. Lotus used to just do kiting builds only, but man, he actually played with a very different build, using Shades with greatswords and like infantry and monsters like dragon here. It's like very different. Malekith's been wavering for the last 10 years. That's going to be it. GG. Man, well played to both players. That was a really good game. That was a really good game. Jesus. That was a stressful one. A couple small misplays from Energize at the end cost him the game. But he still played a super good game, to say the least. So game 2. Pick factions. Lotus Moon says that was so crazy. Yeah, it was, dude. It really was. So we are in game 2 now. Man, what a series. That was really good. I was, you know, and it's when if I were to run into Lotus Moon on ladder, I would be like, yeah, I'm gonna just counter mass, mass kite builds, right? But that build, he brought like Shades with great weapons. What? That was crazy. 10 HP on Malekith. One Man's Way says he's sweating from that. Yeah. Honestly, the Lizardmen, I think, had that game in the bag. They had that one. But a couple small misplays cost him the game, honestly. Had he just shot Malekith, if he had shot Malekith with the Solar Engine and then brought the Solar Engine back to his Temple Guard and just stacked them on top of one another, that would have been game. Energize would have won 100%. That was his game to win, for sure. Johan says, hey, sorry for not being able to send more, dude, please. Come on, man. Please, no, never apologize for that. Student broke right now, but I've been following you for a while, so I felt to send something. Keep doing the good work. Also, how's the hand? The hand's been getting like ups and downs. If I try and paint Warhammer figures, my 40k models, it gets a little bit worse. So it's kind of, yeah. I was trying to get my army fully painted. I only have like 2 characters that aren't painted. But man, thank you so much for the very generous donation, Johan. That is a good one. Oh yeah, we're in it. That was a game, all right. Jesus. Let's see. Samonten says, loving the ECL streams and what an amazing close game. Keep up the amazing content and hit that like button. Also, guys, another fun amount. Thank you so much for the 20. And also something that you may like to hear based on that donation is that we're going to be doing another ECL. Once we finish the finals for this season, we're going to be jumping into a third ECL season relatively quickly. We're going to be trying to keep it going so there's like an ongoing season. Yeah, I want to keep it more frequent. Just have it be like the mainstay of the channel, right? Like every week we have one. I mean, there will be a break for a couple weeks where we'll probably do some like funny streams and things like that, like ridiculous ones. But all right, the blocker's up. Man, yeah, a couple misplays. Him letting the Skink Chief get caught and beaten down by Malekith was probably costing the game. The Solar Engine and a couple other small decisions. Like, he played super well. Lotus Moon is obviously one of the better players out there. If you know, but hands down. So, I mean, but man, that was that just barely cost him the game. And Lotus, of course, is a really good player. He's going to capitalize on your mistakes. 100%. So for anyone who thought he was going to bring mass kiting builds, Lotus Moon coming in with Wildwood Rangers. 3 Wildwood Rangers and a rush build, basically. I mean, he has a couple Archer Cav, but really, I mean, no more than normal. He's got a bunch of Wild Riders, so he certainly changed his style. Yes, we got to update the scoreboard. That's right. Thank you for that update there, brothers. So for the forces of Lotus Moon, he's got Eternal Guard mixed in with Wildwood Rangers, which I'm interested to see how these guys work out against like Tomb Kings. This is a very, very unorthodox pick, but Lotus brought the Shades with Great Weapons, who turned out to be his saving grace in the last game against the Armor of the Dinosaur. So there really is something to be said there. I like these builds quite a bit. Wildwood Rangers, Eternal Guard, he's got a Glade Lord, a Beastcaster plus a Life Caster, and a couple groups of Sisters and Wild Riders on the flanks. Now, for the Tomb Kings, it's going to be Tomb Guard, Tomb Prince plus a Tomb King, Archers in the back, Sneaky Snakes, Eyes of the Desert, and it looks like Nekakar Horseman, a Death Caster as well. Going to be taking some shots from this Air Force, though, and it looks like there's going to be a Spirit Leech going down on the Wild Riders right out of the gates here. Tomb Kings should probably advance. Maybe pull these guys back, use the Nekakar Horseman, and maybe slam into the Wildwood Rangers. They are very lightly armored, don't have the best defensive stats. I mean, still 38 melee defense isn't bad, but nonetheless, Tomb Kings are going to be advancing. This is a matchup that historically has heavily favored the Wood Elves, in my opinion. Right when it came out, at least. They were one of the biggest counters to the Tomb Kings. But man, we're going to see what he can do. Eyes of the Desert are lurking back here. Lotus Moon is not aware of these guys quite yet. So if Energize is able to get in here and get some freebies here on the Glade Riders, that could be quite good. Pravenoth Rama is going to be going down on the Skeleton Archers. I'm not sure why he did that. Maybe to make him a little bit squishier. That is a very strange cast right there of the Pravenoth Rama. Eyes of the Desert are able to fend those guys off. Skeleton Archer shooting as well. Oh, and he takes a big breath attack. I mean, it's just Skeleton Archers. It's not the end of the world, that's for sure. Tomb Kings are going to be pushing forward. Spirit Leech was quite good on those Wild Riders right there. And yeah, we got a battle on our hands for sure. And the damage back and forth. Glade Riders have taken some work. Over here, we did have the Wild Riders taking some damage as well. A little bit of damage on these Skeleton Archers, but again, in terms of cost, about equal damage has been done back and forth. So here comes the front line coming in from the Tomb Kings. Tomb Guard are going to be pretty good against Wildwood Rangers. Tomb Guard are a very tough infantry unit to kill. They have high melee defense, lowish armor. It's only 50, but again, they have a 42 or 41 melee defense, which is quite good. The Eyes of the Desert definitely were able to get a little bit of a surprise back there, but they probably want to stay back high and tight. The Nekakar Horsemen aren't going to have the best fight, and one thing that's going to be tough for all the big monsters, I mean, the Dragon, a Tomb King on foot plus a Tomb Prince. That's good, because they have silver shields, and a lot of Wood Elves against Tomb Kings typically just go with Waywatcher spam and just snipe out the characters. So I think that's a good choice. Another Fate of Buna going down on the Sisters of Thorn, which is going to be a good cast right there. It's going to butter their bread pretty bad. Neckar Horsemen do not want to take this fight. They do not want to take that fight. With the Great Eagles there, that is not going to be a good situation. So pulling back here, I think, is the best choice. It is a small map, so honestly, the Wood Elves are, backing up into a bit of a dangerous position because Tomb Kings don't break. So if they fight the Wood Elves over here, like on this side of the battlefield, and the Wood Elves start to break, they'll just run right off the map, which will be pretty bad. Eyes of the Desert getting outmaneuvered a little bit, so a little bit of sloppy play there, but it's okay. Pulling those guys back in should be pretty good. The Lich Priest with Death, I believe he did overcast and also blew himself up a little bit, plus he's also taking damage from the caster here, so he needs to get a little bit more aggressive here. Neckar Horsemen, honestly, just put one group of Neckar Horsemen on top of the Glade Riders and just like charge with everything else, and you'll be in good shape. So the Tomb Kings are going to be advancing here. Wildwood Rangers, looks like they're going to be getting up and around the flanks and thinking about collapsing here onto the Skeleton Spearmen. And a Manticore Summon is going to be coming down as well. Bounce Fire a little bit in the favor of the Wood Elves here. And he needs to engage. He needs to be a little bit more aggressive here. He needs to just like push his skeletons forward. They're all in good shape. And his Faded Boon has been very good. His Death Play, even if his caster does die here, it's not a big deal. He already got 2 Spirit Leeches and a Faded Boon off, so he's gotten relatively good value. Now here comes the main fight. Eternal Guard are going to be fighting Tomb Guard. Tomb Guard will be able to win that matchup very, very easily. Across the entire front line, it's pretty much going to be a Tomb King's victory. And you can see here the Horsemen are going to be charging in to the Wildwood Rangers, which is a good choice. Deathcaster is going to be going down here. No doubt. 152 HP Manticore getting in there is going to be strong. But a good collapse here. He's able to get full surrounds here on the Wildwood Rangers, which is probably going to break them off the battlefield. In the back, the Eyes of the Desert. These guys need to be used in melee a little bit more. Like, pull them up and use their anti-large in melee. I think it's just going to be more efficient. Tomb Guard are grinding out the Wildwood Rangers here in the front. And the Tomb Prince and the Tomb King are going to be fighting back-to-back against those Eternal Guard here. But it looks like we have a big cockfight over here, and it's a fairly substantial surround. Neckar Horsemen are fully surrounded at this point. Tomb Guard are fighting as well, and I think this is going to be a quick one for the Wood Elves. Just some outmaneuvering here, honestly. Like, this was a good initial engagement, but the Eyes of the Desert are basically doing nothing. Energize has left those guys in the back, and I mean, those are the guys that need to be countercharging this countercharge. They need to be coming in here, finishing these guys off, and alas, they're just kind of sitting there doing nothing, which I think is going to be costing them the game. So back in the main fight, it's going okay for the Tomb Kings in some areas. The Tomb Prince and company are able to break off some Eternal Guard. Maybe collapse over here and just try and like win this side of the battlefield at least, because the Wood Elves are easily going to be able to crump all over this side. I mean, Wildwood Rangers hit pretty hard. They have 42 weapon strength, and they're able to clean up that fight. Manticore is going to be desummoning here. Eyes of the Desert have been pretty much useless this game, which is a little bit unfortunate. Those guys have just been kind of sitting. A very good Praven Othrema is going to be going down as well, and the Eternal Guard are going to be surging in to probably honestly polish those guys off. Nice breath attack coming in from Lotus Moon. Very, very clean, high and tight play coming in. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. I think the Eyes of the Desert are going to get crumped, and Lotus is going to be advancing to the finals to face Slade X. Yeah. Elgy scum. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, the Eyes of the Desert were really big this game. I mean, a big contributor to their to the downfall of the Tomb Kings. They didn't really do much. I liked his build aside from that, honestly. I think had there been a couple of Necropolis Knights with halberds instead of the Eyes of the Desert, like cut one Neckar Horseman plus the Eyes and get 2 Necropolis Knights with halberds and cut 1 Tomb Guard, and like you'd have a pretty good army against this. Like you'd have good anti-large against Wild Riders, you'd have like good battlefield control. I mean, because Wood Elves were just able to outmaneuver and surround all of the flanks, like except this one, of course. But I mean, that's not really going to matter too much here. As you can see, the Tomb Kings are going to be getting crumped here. Yeah, oh yeah. Hey, we got Falcon in here, the man himself. The champion of the last season, the returning champ, going to be defending his strap probably in a couple weeks. We're not sure when the game is going to be. Yeah, we haven't decided the finals yet, but I will be soon. We'll have the final Eternal Challenger League qualifier next week. It'll be probably midweek, maybe the weekend. I just kind of want to get it done. I'm very excited, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, so that's going to be it. You can see here that the Fat Dragon is going to be landing, just his forest thickness. A very cool build, though, using Wildwood Rangers. You know, and seeing these folks like Falcon and Lotus play, you learn a lot of new things about factions, like Shades with great weapons. Okay, I never thought of that before. And also Wildwood Rangers definitely doing some very good work in this game. I mean, you wouldn't think you would need AP infantry against like Tomb Kings, but it's actually not bad because it gives you AP against constructs as well, and they just have good stats in general, right? 48 melee attack will crump most things in the front line. And I guess if you go with War Dancers, they kind of accomplish the same thing. However, they don't have as good of AP against constructs, so I like the dual-pronged usage of that. I think that's pretty cool. Arthritis is blamed for their loss. Yeah. So I have my sound like barely on my speakers, and I just heard some Wood Elf yelling like, ah! I was like, what the hell is that? Now the Tomb Prince and the Tomb King are holding out, but you know the Tomb Kings are barely holding on by a thread, mostly due to the fact that the Ushabti summon is here. So it's going to be Slade X of XMT facing off against Lotus Moon here in the finals, it looks like. Nice breath attack right there. It's going to be roasting those 2 units. And yeah. Wildwood Rangers crumping all over these guys. There's also some Sisters of Thorn up here in the high ground. We got to say, well played to Energize, though. He certainly had some tough fights here. Game 1, he almost had that one against Lotus. It was a very, very close game, but Game 2 is going to be a pretty decisive victory for the Wood Elves here as they do kind of clean up the Tomb King's forces. It was a good build. I think that Eyes of the Desert in the back just kind of Netflix and chilling was certainly a big detriment. All right, so we will let Lotus know that the finals have been hosted by Slade X, and it's going to be Slade, the Git Crumper, the Greenskin Legend, facing off against Lotus, the Elf Legend. We'll see who pulls out. And let us go ahead and update the scoreboard here. A 2-0 victory for the Lotus. Well played, though. Well played. Finals Lotus. Slade has hosted. All right, so Lotus Moon is going to be jumping over to the finals lobby. Say GG to Energized. Well played, man. And now we're going to be going to the finals here. Oh, the lighting in the room has changed. He says thanks and bye. Well, Slade, I don't know if you're going to be able to get away with bringing Grimgore against Lotus Moon, but we'll see. So we're just going to be jumping into the finals here in 1 second. Almost ready, my friends. We're going to see, guys. This is going to be good. I'm really excited for this finals. We have another donation, a couple, that I did miss during the game, so my apologies. One's from Mads Rasmussen. I had a good friend in high school. His last name was Rasmussen. I watched literally every video. Love your content and your humor. Keep up the great work. Thank you, man, for the donation. Appreciate it, and I certainly will until my hands fall off. Magnum Knights, thank you for the Canadian money. Prince Sigvald needs more love in these tournaments. Sigvald maybe has an niche against Wood Elves. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. All right. And we are getting into the finals. We're setting up the lobby here, guys. Hang tight. So first map is going to be Pillar of Bone. And we are in. All right. Cool. Yeah, I need to work on the green screen thing. It's like I look like I'm in freaking the Avengers just fading from the Thanos snap. All right. So Lotus conveniently stayed on the same side. And we have the Gitch Crumper. I got to get his name right. Maybe he's just Git Crumper now. Like, he always plays under that. Okay, so Git Crumper, he's not picking High Elves, is he? No way. He's picking Greenskins. The boys ain't scared of no one. So, Git Crumper, knowing that he probably doesn't have as many factions he likes to play, is going to be going in strong. Picking the Greenskins. Lotus Moon, of course. Oh my god. So, Git Crumper picks Greenskins, and he doesn't... I don't think he's giving a ban. He says, the boys ain't scared of no one. That is a mistake. That is a mistake. He says he's banning no one. Oh my god. The swagger on this man. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I could duct tape my hand and then just like club the mouse. I love this. This kid, he says no one, and then Lotus Moon's like, I'll go High Elves. He's like, come on, Den. Oh my god. I don't think he's going to be able to get away with the meme builds against Lotus. Please don't meme too hard, dude. You're going to regret it against Lotus. Why would you do that? Why would you do that, dude? You're giving him what he wants. He's just going to arc it and forging you. If he wins with... Oh my god. What a beast. El Macho. All right, win or lose. He's a true hero of the people. He's gonna go out like a champion. Let me get some water real quick, guys. Hang on, hang tight. Oh. Well, I don't know. I'm sure he has some disgusting homebrew in store. I kind of would like to see him try like a very serious build, just to see what he would do against someone like Lotus, considering he's probably one of the better greenskin players out there. But I know he can't resist the call of his memes. Yeah. If he wins, it'll be true legend. To play greenskins, he must become the greenskins. Jalal All says, if he wins, I'll eat your show my shorts. Oh my god. So all the players know, I'm sure Lotus like had a build locked and loaded for this. Oh my god, this build is absurd. See you later, Falcon. Take care, man. Thank you for joining. Good to see you as always, my friend. Wow, this build. I can tell you guys, you're going to like it. I'll let them know they can start when ready. Dimmy, you think he'll win with greenskins? But no one else? That's pretty funny. He was pretty good with Norska too, though. I feel like he could do Norska, greenskins. He's going to have to win with like a 3-0 if he wants a chance. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, greenskins are always having fun. Gabo, R. Kelly believe they can fly Doom Divers. That's pretty good, Romulan. I like that. R. Kelly, the R. Kelly build. Does that include peeing on the elves? I mean, honestly, Doom Diver catapults aren't terrible against skirmish builds because they just sit back and have like heat seeking, just chase you down. Forest Goblin Spider Riders are incredibly effective against skirmishers. Greenskins actually have really good counter skirmishing. They have Spider Riders, they have Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers. Death's Creepers are really good. Like they have like big bosses, which are pretty good. Like they have really good counter skirmishing, I think. Garland Green, what's up, man? Thank you again for sponsoring the channel. You've been a sponsor for a long time. I see you have the skink badge there. And guys, remember, this is a small map too. This is a small map, so it's a greenskin map as well. We have Wareja. We have some fans of Lotus in chat as well. Wareja is pulling for him. Wareja did qualify last week. And I hear a phone going off somewhere in the distance. And here we go. Jumping into game 1 of the finals of Eternal Challenger League Qualifier number 7. Lotus Moon and Slade X both had some pretty good series in the first matches. Garland, you're here just in time for the finals, my friend. And it is time. There shall be a reckoning. Lotus Moon going back to his old school ways. And honestly, this isn't even like a... This is like a build that's always been pretty good against... Yeah, this is like normal. Like, honestly, Dragon Prince builds, like why fight greenskins and infantry if you don't have to? So for the build of Lotus Moon, he does have a Walmart Dragon up in the skies. This is actually a Costco Dragon. It's going to be the Moon Dragon, and it looks like he does have a Lariel. Arcane Unforging is too good not to take. Now, aside from that, he has 3 Dragon Princes. The Dragon Prince, the dreaded Dragon Prince build has been very good against greenskins for a long time. Heavy Cav just are so dominant in that respect. So we're going to see, I mean, if his build over here is going to be ready for it. So he's got 3 Dragon Princes, one of which is going to be the Fireborn, and then a couple groups of Reavers and Reaver Archers. So not too many ranged units, to be honest. I mean, he just has one group of the Shadow Warriors plus the Reaver Archers, but aside from that, like his build is very heavy Cav focused. So going to be going just straight up Rohirrim build. Now, for the forces of the greenskins, they do have the advantage of range. So he's just going to set up a Helm's Deep here in the trees up here. Oh my god, he's got Black Orcs across the entire line here. Orc Arrow Boys in the secondary, who do have better armor piercing than normal. He's also got Forest Goblin Spider Riders, Trolls in the back, which is a little bit risky. But nonetheless, Lotus has to attack because of the Goblin Rock Lobber, so that's going to force him in. He has some Goblins on the flanks, but guys, he's got an Orc Shaman with the Brainbuster and the Glare. And with Skarsnik, the Warlord of 8 Peaks, coming out in a competitive game against one of the best elf players in Total War Warhammer. So we're going to see how Skarsnik does. I'm quite excited for this. He does also have Vindictive Glare on the Shaman. But, oh, better plug in my laptop here, guys. Come on. All right. My laptop died. Sorry about that. I was like, no, that's where I watch chat. I should be able to save it here. We'll find out. Come back to us. Okay, so chat's gonna... I'm not gonna be able to read chat for this game, probably. But I should be back in action here in just a minute after this, this battle. So, can the Greenskins do it? They have this Helm's Deep in the Hills. Lotus Moon with a very defensive posture. Again, he has to attack, so these Illyrian Reaver Archers... I mean, they could actually beat down the Morgub's Mage Marauders, so I would say Lotus Moon still has battlefield control here. I'm surprised we didn't see more Forest Goblin Spider Riders. So the first Vindictive Glare is going to be going down after Alariel. Oh, and Lotus Moon trying to juke it. Oh, and he takes a couple shots right in the dome piece. That could force out a heal relatively early. Perhaps. I don't know, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? No, he's not going to be healing, so Alariel taking some pretty fat damage right out of the gates there. In the back, Lotus Moon does, of course, have these Reaver Archers who are hidden. So he's going to be very careful here, and in the meantime, he's advancing his dragon and all of his other forces. And the Greenskins, it's not often you see the Greenskins like this, right? Like in this very defensive posture. This is extremely, extremely different. Now, in the meantime, Shadow Warriors are going to be shooting in, getting a really nice volley here onto the Mangy Marauders, which is going to be good. Rocklobber will probably be shooting at them now. It is firing, so it's going to be shooting at the Shadow Warriors, I would imagine. Yes? No? Maybe so? We'll find out in the next episode. The High Elves have to advance here. Yeah, Shadow Warriors, I mean, Greenskins can't really afford to go out too much because of all the Dragon Princes. Like, the mobility for Lotus's army is pretty nasty for sure. And, Get Grumper says, attack with something, please. Oh my god. So, Morgub's Mage Marauders going to be scooting up the Orc Airboys to shoot. I mean, they do have a little bit of counterplay. They can shoot in there if they want. The Shadow Warriors could harass for an indefinite amount of time. 180 range against the 140 of the Orc Airboys. But the Orc Airboys, they have more HP. It's about the same, give or take, actually. Rocklobber is shooting in. It's going to be poking those guys. Vindictive Glare is going to be going down again. Slapping into Alariel. And, you know, if he could force out, like, a Star or Earthbloods, like, early, that would be pretty incredible. That would be pretty good. Oh, man, Alariel getting popped again. So he used the Madcap Mushrooms to double cast that. So the Pigeon Queen is getting very, very beat up here. Now, the Dragon is probably going to be positioning on the flanks to try and get a breath attack onto the Black Orcs. This is so different. Like, seeing the Greenskins in this posture like this, it's very, like, strange. Very strange. But I guess against, like, all this heavy cav, it's not a terrible idea. Now, in the back, there are some Dragon Princes in reserve. Lotus Moon coming up with a couple of the units here. And it looks like his Lord is going to be hiding. The Dragon is going to be coming in with the breath attack. Ooh, oh, God, that's not good. He kind of stacked on top of the Black Orcs and gave Lotus a 2-for-1. Skarsnik is just going to be cackling, and there is going to be a charge coming in from the first group of princes who are going to be shrekking a couple goblins. And that's going to be some pretty good value right there. Black Orcs, of course, doing their thing. Goblin Rocklobber, horribly inaccurate here. Going to be shooting at Shadow Warriors. And in the back, we have the Reaver Archers who are going to be shooting into the Goblin Rocklobber crew, which is a good choice. And I don't think he has too much to kind of deal with this here. He could go shoot it with some of these Orc Airboys, which is probably his best bet, but the Reavers could even sweep in and kill those guys. Now, Lotus's Cav, I mean, he needs to be careful. His Pigeon Queen's very, very beat up here. The Dragon is kind of lurky on the periphery. A little bit of harass coming in from all angles from the Reaver Archers, which aren't going to do a whole lot, to be honest. Orc Archers are going to be shooting back here. And here we go. Getting a couple volleys into the Reaver Archers, but it looks like they might be sweeping in. Honestly, though, if Get Crumper swept in with the Forest Goblin Spider Riders, and then used these Goblins to screen out this retreat, he would be able to get some good value. But it looks like Lotus is going to be getting aggressive with the Reavers, maybe charging into these guys. There are Black Orcs nearby, so it's a bit of a bold strategy, Cotton. And Skarsnik is going to be sitting in the front, just, you know, being a Goblin, doing his thing. Archer's still harassing, but again, damage going back and forth between both players here. These Reaver Archers are thinking about shooting Black Orcs, it looks like. Now, they're actually shooting some of the Archers here, but a good volley from the Greenskins there, getting some huge damage on those Reaver Archers. So far, balance of power is pretty even. Both players just kind of feeling each other out. Another charge coming in from the Princes. Going to be doing a fat, erect Rohirrim charge right into these filthy Goblins, which is value. I mean, Goblins still, it's 300 gold, so if you could break them off, I mean, that's not bad, right? Now, this is where Wurzog would be super nice, being able to frickin', you know, effigy these guys. But both players taking a bit of damage, but the Dragon Princes are still in good shape for the most part, except these ones actually took quite a bit of damage. The Greenskin defensive formation and the Rock Lobber still shooting. I wonder if the Rock Lobber is shooting at the Dragon Princes. Honestly, it's probably not a terrible idea. So these Reavers probably going to be sweeping in to finish off the Goblins here, who are retreating to the cover of the Black Orcs. And look at this. Some of the skirmish cav of the High Elves are actually taking quite a bit of damage. It is a disadvantage for the High Elves to fight up here, and that's why Lotus Moon is being very methodical and trying to pull them out here. But this is risky. Alarielle coming in like this is dangerous. Oh, she gets blasted, but it looks like it was a miss from the Orc Shaman. And where is the Goblin Shaman is the big question. Arcane Conduit coming down. So that was the Greenskin missile attack. Or not Greenskin, but not the Goblin one, the Orc one. It doesn't do as much damage, it would seem. And Alarielle is able to squeak away, but again, she's very low. Bounce power is actually pretty good in the favor of the High Elves right now. Both players are shooting. At this point, if you're thinking of like a very serious kind of tournament situation, Git Crumper should start saving ammo on his Rock Lobber and just shooting with his archers, because both players technically have to be attackers. Lotus Moon has been shooting with his archers very consistently, so he's attacking, and the Greenskins are attacking through the Rock Lobber. However, if they save the Rock Lobber, Lotus runs out of ammo, he then has the Rock Lobber, it forces the High Elves to attack. But if you really want to kind of game the system of tournament play. So there's going to be a Vindictive Glare going down. Oh, I don't think Lotus sees it. Oh my goodness. Alarielle is just Shadow Realms right now. 821. Oh, and he recharged it with the Madcap's Mushrooms. 543 HP on Alarielle. That is brutal. So the Greenskin missile play doing really good. Obviously, he knows how to play against High Elves. The Night Goblin Shaman with the Wand of Jet. He needs to pull back to his army, though. Man, that is some nasty firepower on Alarielle. So what he's going to do right now is he's going to pull these guys back and use the Star of Avalorn to heal them all up. But that's good. I mean, he's getting it out of the way early on, which is quite nice. And the Greenskin missile line is actually trading very efficiently against the archers here. They're taking a lot of damage. He needs to get this Goblin Caster back. This could be really bad for Git Crumper if he gets caught here. I mean, losing this missile attack, which has been saving him all game, don't want to do that. Now, a very nice heal here by Lotus Moon. Very good discipline there. And it looks like Skarsnik is able to rush in and save those guys. Him and Gobla. I can't believe Gobla Skarsnik is in this game. That's how confident he is with Greenskins. That's how confident he is with the Greenskins. AP Clooney's going to be surging forth as well. Greenskin's actually taking a bit more of an aggressive position out of the forest now. So now that they've softened up a lot of the High Elf skirmishers, I think they're feeling a little bit more confident in their mobility here. Dragon in the back was landing to chase off some of the Orc Air Boys, so Lotus is getting he's getting his too. In the meantime, Alarielle's coming back. She's almost at her healing cap, though, actually, even this early in the game, which is crazy. And the Reaver Archer is getting pounded. Now, the Dragon Princes are going to have to fight pretty soon. The Pigeon Lady does have healing, and she has used it. The reason why Lotus was trying to save it. And another Vindictive Glare is going to be going down. Oh, and it's going to tap the Pigeon. Oh, my God, she's getting destroyed. Arcane Conduit going down. The Goblin probably has another one, because the Night Goblin Shamans do have a way to recharge that, which is very strong. Now, in the back, the Dragon could be a big issue here. Some of the Goblins are surging in, and Forest Goblin Spider Riders do get terrified and probably going to get broken off the battlefield if Lotus Moon chases them off with either the Dragon or the Reavers. Man, this has been an intense cockfight. It's been a fierce cockfight. A fierce one. So Lotus is going to be coming in to strike now. Dragon Prince is hammering into the front line. Trolls countercharging with Black Orcs, which is actually not bad. And it looks like Skarsnik coming in as well. But the Princes are able to get the fresh Princes of Ulthuan are able to get some pretty good damage on AP Loonies. Archers in the back shooting in against the Moon Dragon. And Forest Goblin Spider Riders actually come back. So you could use these guys, pull them back in, use them as kind of a poison magnet there. And the Goblin Rock Lobber still somehow, some way is shooting. Trolls are shooting. Dragon Princes are all somewhat healthy, with the exception of one group, I believe, which is a little bit beat up. Oh, this is going to be good. Looks like Lotus is going to get the Fireborn, and he is going to corral the Morgoth's Magi Marauders over here and get them towards the edge of the map here. This is a good game, but the Morgoth's Magi Marauders in some trouble. And I think Lotus Moon is starting to methodically get his way back into this game. The Orc Archers are in good shape. Rock Lobber still is shooting. And I think it's shooting at Dragon Princes, actually. No, it's shooting at Reavers, looks like. He needs to be careful to make sure to keep his army together. These Reavers are being beaten down by some Black Orcs over here on the flank. Lotus is sweeping around the back line, though, and causing a lot of problems. He's picking off a lot of the utility units of the Orcs. Skarsnik is going to be a little bit tricky to kill. I mean, he has anti-large AP, so he's pretty good against a lot of this High Elf force. High Elves are pretty much out of skirmishing power, though. Reaver Archers are 4 ammunition here. Shadow Warriors have 3. In the back, we have some very beat-up Reavers, some beat-up Fireborn, and also the Reaver Archers here. Greenskins are still in their defensive pocket. Orc Air Boys, of course, hanging out, enjoying themselves. This is a very strange battle. The Greenskins camping in the trees, using their superior missiles against the High Elves. Something you don't hear terribly often. But yeah, the Reaver Archers are just kind of looking for an in. And it looks like Lotus Moon is going to be using the last of his ammunition. And that's going to be it for that. Now, the Dragon needs to get some good breath attacks if he has some on the Black Orcs. That's going to be the biggest thing, is like there's still a ton of healthy Black Orcs. And Skarsnik is still there. The Shaman is there. Alariel literally has to hide on the other side of the map, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. Oh, you think this will end up in a draw? Yeah, they're supposed to have the time set on infinite, so hopefully it doesn't come to that. That would actually be really unfortunate. So the Black Orcs here are going to continue to fight. Shooting in there. Getting those juicy shots. But, you know, I think once the fighting does start, the battle will go relatively quickly. So hopefully it doesn't end up in a draw. Because, yeah, they're supposed to have infinite time. I don't think I mentioned it to him. I usually mention it before the tournaments. I thought most players would know that, but you can't assume that. Lotus Moon charging in the back with the Fireborn. And it looks like the Black Orcs are going to be charging into Reavers. Should be able to get a couple kills there pretty easily. Fireborn are a little bit tied up in the forest, taking a little bit of gunfire. Skarsnik shooting as well. Very good jump there by the Moondragon, able to knock that Night Goblin Shaman down. And now the Black Orcs are being hammered by the charges of the Reavers, as well as some of the Dragon Princes. But the Greenskins still have the missile advantage. Like I said, they still have all these archers. So they can kind of dictate the pacing of the battle a little bit. We'll find out. Dragon jumping in as well. Going to be attacking these Black Orcs here. Other Dragon Princes are going to be charging as well. Oh man, this is intense. Alariel going to be dropping a heal, but she's very low. If that Shaman actually has any more missile attacks, he could really just punish Alariel. And without a leader, I think the High Elves would be in a little bit of trouble. Now, the bounce fire is pretty even, I would say. And you can see here the Black Orcs still circling. Ammunition is still there. There's one volley left for these Reaver Archers. Probably going to be dropping that ammunition here in a second. And the shots are coming in. It looks like Lotus is preparing for a big strike here. He's attacking the AP Cloonies, which I don't know if that's the best because they're unbreakable and they're going to poison everything. And the Dragon's going to be coming in for the kill on the little Goblin here. And the Trolls going to be attacking. Trolls will be okay against the Dragon, actually. If they can get a good surround on it. The Night Goblin Shaman is broken, but a lot of Archer Fire coming in here, which is quite powerful. And the Black Orcs chasing those guys away. And Alariel's still up in the skies. Ooh, man, this Dragon's taking a lot of damage here. This is not good for the Dragon. This is not good for the Dragon. Dragon is going to be falling back here. A lot of Archer Fire coming in. 2,835 HP. And it looks like the Reavers are able to get the Night Goblin Shaman. So, I mean, you know, if someone is kind of utilizing the forest like this, you have to play it kind of like this. You have to be very methodical. Otherwise, like, if you just commit to an Alpha Strike in the forest, you're going to lose, 100%. So, Skarsnik's still on the ground. If we do go to a draw, though, what we'll end up doing is just replaying the game. And they can pick a different map and different factions if they want. Because it's supposed to be infinite time. So, we'll just, like, replay it. It's not a big deal. So the High Elves are lurking around. They're jumping. They're crumping. Looking for those juicy targets. The Trolls are going to be circling as well. Archers scooting forward. And the Night Goblin Shaman is going to be going down here in a second. He has 143 HP. Greenskins are going to be surging out of the forest a little bit. But some Black Orcs are going to be kind of holding up the rear here. As the Princes... I wonder where they're going to go. Alariel, I think, is still alive somewhere. Yeah, she's over here kind of taking out a group of Black Orcs. So he is able to kind of pull some Black Orcs away from the main army. And they're shaking. I mean, they're taking a true hammering. A true hammering. And you can see these Black Orcs going to continue to fight. This is actually not bad for the Greenskins, though, because the Black Orcs are going to at least get to fight. And they're immune to psych, so they can't break like that. -5 leadership, -1, -11, 1. It's going like back and forth, like between breaking and stabilizing. And it looks like they are going to break there. And those guys are going to get probably chased off the battlefield. So the Greenskins are holding here. Yeah. Skarsnik is still here. Yeah, well, the Black Orcs were just fighting over here, so obviously there was an engagement. So now you can see he's going to be coming back in to engage. There are some Goblins up here on the high ground. We have some Black Orcs, Archers. Skarsnik is still here. He's quite happy, in good shape. And the Greenskin army is probably all fresh and like well rested, as a matter of fact. The bounce power is a little bit in the favor of the High Elves here, actually. They've been able to come back, but again, if he doesn't like commit to striking the Greenskins down before the timer runs out, we're just going to replay the game. But we would do it, of course, on a different map and with new factions if they want to. So the Dragon's coming in. He's probably going to go for a strike here soon. I mean, if Skarsnik can get some decent attacks, there still could be a Gaze of Mort going down. So he's going to be landing amongst the Goblins in the back. Orc Archers are shooting into the Dragon Princes here, getting some decent little shots in there. Goblins in the back in a bit of a dicey pickle. Black Orc's going to be going in. Ooh, Alariel actually has an overextending attack animation. She's like doing that big fancy pickup thing. Now, if the Greenskins can actually surround Alarielle here, that's gonna be pretty strong. So Alarielle's gonna get attacked by Skarsnik. The Prison Shank of the Gods coming down. Oh, he doesn't quite get her, but nonetheless, she's taking some pretty good damage. On the low ground, we do have a fight between Dragon Princes, Black Orcs, and Trolls, which is going to favor the Black Orcs and Trolls quite heavily in that regard. But this is a pretty big fight here. This is a big deciding one. Shadow Warriors are fighting. I mean, the Dragon's fighting. Everyone's just getting down and dirty. Alarielle's like almost dead. Lotus Moon collapsing from every angle. You can see the Dragon Princes coming in to try and seize this victory here. But it's anyone's game at this point, really. Black Orcs and company doing their thing. Trolls surging forward as well. Oh man, this is a wild one. Hopefully it doesn't go to a draw. It's been a pretty good game. It's very technical. I know a lot of people don't like watching games that are like kind of like paced like this, but from a competitive standpoint, it's very intense. So Skarsnik needs to get in there and shank that dragon. He can certainly do some pretty good damage. Fireborn are going to be attacking as well. Greenskins are, attacking on all fronts. And the Cav are going to need to pull back and engage here. Probably going to cycle charge over here and get these Orc Airboys with these Dragon Princes, I would imagine. Yeah, it's certainly harder for the Greenskins the longer it goes, but at least they still have archers, so they can still kind of poke even when the Princes and company are falling back, the Fresh Princes. These guys are going to be getting some good damage. On the low ground, though, this is quite good for the Greenskins. They are able to pound these Reavers out. And these guys are going to be getting a huge charge into the Orcs here. A fat Dragon Prince charge. Beautiful stuff right there. And up on the high ground, though, it looks like the Duel of Duels. Skarsnik's going to be fighting the Moon Dragon. And it looks like Alarielle's going to be coming in as well. Ooh, that's not good for him. Arcane Unforging does a lot of damage. And I think this might be the Death Thrusts. Yeah, this might be the Death Throws for the Greenskins here. Unless Skarsnik can hold. If Skarsnik can hold and actually kill Alarielle and the Dragon, and hold long enough to allow the rest of the Greenskin force to kind of crump on these guys, that could be pretty good. But the Dragon Prince is coming from all angles. Now, on the low ground, Trolls and Black Orcs were able to win their respective fights. Skarsnik, unfortunately for the Greenskins, is terrified. He could come back, though, since it's just a terror route. Alarielle is really low. She's at like 1,300 HP, which is pretty crazy. And the Dragon Princes and company going to be pulling back, getting chased by goblins a little bit. But going for that strike on Skarsnik is quite good. Skarsnik is a schemer, but he's probably going to get pushed off the battlefield right now, I would imagine. Oh, here it comes. Yeah, going in. Skarsnik's in a bit of trouble. And at this point, he still has a lot of Black Orcs to finish off, though, so it's certainly not over. Like, even if it looks bad for the Greenskins and the bounce of power, it's going to be really, really hard to finish off those Black Orcs. 3 minutes, 35 seconds left. The time is on. The stress is here. Alarielle the Radiant going to be getting blasted by Greenskin Missile Attack, doing some really good damage, and the Orc Archer is shooting in as well. She has about 1,000 HP. Trolls in the back are going to be defending from this rear onslaught from the Reavers and company, and you can also see that the Fireborn are going to be getting into these Archers. Black Orcs coming as well. But man, I would have liked to have seen a Doomdiver Catapult. I think that would have been a little bit better, like 2 Doomdivers with this type of play. Like kind of just utilizing the high ground there. Skarsnik won't hold, yeah. I mean, he's tankier than Grimgore, but not by too much. Black Orcs here, or Trolls actually get terrified and broken off. Bounce of power ebbing heavily in the favor of the High Elves, but the final battle's here. We have an Earthblood going down, Black Orcs piling in. Now this, even though it looks like it, like I'm saying, I still think you can't mass terror out this army. These are all Black Orcs. These guys are just meaty, they're thick. And we're going to see how it goes. Alarielle the Radiant swooping in. She's going to have to jump in, though. Yeah, she has to fight. But again, if he isn't able to finish off the Greenskins before the timer, we're going to replay this game. Oh yeah, there's nothing bad about like the kiting. Like this is fair play. Oh, this is all fair play. I mean, the Greenskins turtled in a forest. Like you got to play like that. You can't just charge in; you'll lose. Like it's fair play. So the dragon here is going to be landing and going after the Orc Shaman. Black Orcs are holding on strong. They are certainly crumping some gits. And I have to believe that if he didn't bring Skarsnik, he probably would have been in pretty good shape to win this game. Skarsnik, just the memeing with Skarsnik. Skarsnik didn't do anything this entire game, really. And that is going to be game one. Man. You know, Slade put up a really good fight. His positioning was good, forcing Lotus's... Like, he was able to do a ton of damage to Lotus's army, but I think the Skarsnik meme was just too strong. Although he did have the staff. Maybe that's why he did that. Like, getting Skarsnik's Prada to get extra missile attacks against Alarielle. Maybe there's something I'm missing there. Well played to both players. Okay, let me tell him. Set time to infinite. Set time to infinite. Get Crumper says, Oh, he says he has no interest in playing war games like that. Come on, man. If that's the case. Oh, that's unfortunate. Come on. Well, let me talk to him real quick and see. Where is he here? So Lotus may just win this. If Get Crumper, he only really plays Greenskin, so I think he might not want to play more. We'll see. I'm gonna chat with him real quick. Let's see here. One second, guys. This is unheard of. This is unheard of. The first time we've ever had someone not want to finish the finals. So stand by while we chat with the lad. There was only like 2 missile units though. There wasn't that much missile cap really. It was just a Shadow Warrior and Okay, it looks like he's gonna keep playing, I think. So next map is going to be next map is Angui. Here we go. And it is time. So Lotus Moon picks Wood Elves, and he's not going to be banning anything either. He's going to be playing it the same way, it would seem. Well, that wasn't a troll build, honestly. Dragon Prince is against Greenskins is pretty standard. We're going to be on... so Get Crumper is going to be going for the Beastmen. And Beastmen versus Wood Elves, going with like... you know, what are those things called? Centaurs, and like all those guys can be pretty solid. I mean, what you just saw right now was pretty good high elf play, honestly. It's hard against Greenskins because your infantry get crumped pretty hard against by Black Orcs and like the Wa and all that stuff. And you can't necessarily safely use Arcane and Forging against their lords anymore because a lot of people know how to use the Goblin Missiles to pop you down. So Dragon Prince play is very strong. Yeah. Oh. So we got the Beastmen here. And they're going to be facing off against Wood Elves, it looks like. There is some force to work with. And let us see here. So, we got a donation from Borge. He says, been watching and enjoying your channel for a long time. For the amount of time you entertained me, I owe you more. Thank you, man. I really appreciate the donation there. Glad you're enjoying the content. Yeah, Doom Divers would have been pretty good. Honestly, he played a really good game. Like, it was close. I don't know why he was so down on himself. Yeah, did they set the time to infinite? Alright, we let him know. I wasn't bored, I was just watching. I told him. I'll let him know before they start. And we'll restart if we have to. We do have the screen blocker up, right? Yeah, honestly, if Lariel had gone down earlier from his sniping, that could have been pretty good. Okay, he sees it. He's setting it. I believe both of these gentlemen live in Australia, maybe? I'm not actually sure where Slade's from. Johan, thank you. Don't forget the time limit. I didn't, man. Thank you for the 20. Or I don't know how much that is in my currency. I think it's like $5. Thank you, man. All right. And it is time. The Git Crumper coming in with the Beastmen build. It's looking pretty good. I think a couple minor tweaks because I feel like Lotus Moon, knowing that his certain style of play is like feared, he's probably going to come in with like a melee build, right? And Git Crumper actually did see this matchup earlier, right? Didn't we have Lotus's Wood Elves versus... No, I think it was against Tomb Kings. No, so we didn't see that. Slade is UK? Oh, okay. Slade is a Brit? Got it. You just got to message me in Discord if you want to play in these tournaments. All right. And it looks like Lotus is ready. And here we go. Showtime. No, he's actually in the UK. So in the UK, it's like, let's see what time it is. Yeah, it's pretty late there. Well, it's like 9 or 10. It's not that bad. It's pretty good there. I mean, Lotus Moon, I believe, is in Australia. So for him, it is like 5 a.m. Yeah. I think Beastmen have an okay matchup here. Like, they have really good greenskins. I mean, it depends on how Slade likes to play because, like this, the way that, at least from my observation, that Lotus tends to play is like very similar to a lot of you see play like that in a lot of tournaments, right? Like a lot of mobile cav and microcentric units, things that if you forget to cycle charge, you're going to lose the game, right? But you need, like, it's a certain style of play that you need to be relatively familiar at playing against. Like, you need to know that, like, what to bring against it. But I mean, that greenskin build is pretty good, and his defensive formation was solid. I honestly think had one or two more of those missiles, had they hit Alariel, that probably would have been game, honestly. 1 second, guys. My dog's barking pretty crazy. Give me 1 second. All right, we're back in action. And we're going to be taking a look at the Beastmen build. So for the Beastmen, we have a front line of Chaffee Spears, pretty much to be expected. Pretty good against, like, the Cav style play. And on top of that, he does have Morker the Shadowgave, the staff of, is it called the Staff of Corruption? I think it is. Let me go double check. Yeah, Staff of Ruinous Corruption. Ooh, even more heavy metal. On top of that, he does have a couple Ungor Raiders here and some spears in the back. Destroyers of Drakwold, a Bray Shaman with Death. Spirit Legion being always pretty good against Cav and single entities. Now, as far as his mobile force, he has a lot of Centaurs, Hounds, and 4 Harpies. So honestly, he should be adequately equipped to deal with any skirmishing builds. But again, it's at that point, it just comes down to micro, tacticianship, and execution. So for the forces of the Wood Elves, we do have Glade Riders with Hagbane Tips, which, in many ways are countered by the Centaurs if used effectively. A couple groups of the Sisters of Thorn and Wild Riders, and over here on the far side we do have more Wild Riders. And up in the skies we do of course have a Glade Lord on a Dragon, a Beastcaster, and a Lifecaster. And it looks like it's going to be Helm of Discord, so he's not going to be using Prey of Anathrema, trying to, like, snare things. He's actually going to be getting in there, probably trying to hammer aspects of the Beastmen formation. So both players saying good luck. Obviously sportsmanship here is very important. The Staff of Champs. It's still going to be hard. I think this Wood Elf build is going to be pretty good against the Harpies. The Glade Riders with Hagbane Tips are going to be very efficient there. But I mean, if Slade can get those freaking Centaurs and really just kind of punish the Glade Riders and company, I mean, he's going to be in pretty good shape. We'll see. It's gonna come down to micro, really. That's all it is. Like, and micro and execution. The Ungor Raiders are also going to be pretty good against, like, Great Eagles and things like that. The range advantage, of course, does go to the Hagbane Tips here. I think that having a Cygor would have been good to just kind of force them in, like the Eye of Moorsleep. Not only having a snare, but also the range potential to kind of shut those guys down would be very, very strong. Now in the back, I don't know how these Wild Riders took damage. Is there a Cygor? No, there's a Deathcaster. Did he overcast a Spirit Leech just to hit those guys? That would actually be pretty interesting if he did that. Now the Raiders are going to be shooting in, and the Beast Herd is going to be advancing as well. Harpies going to be taking a fight up in the skies versus the Dragon. Now the Dragon's going to kill them very easily. Harpies should probably be chasing Glade Riders and just trying to waste their ammunition and, you know, use in other ways like that. And here comes the Cav. So the Wild Rider's going to be slamming into the Ungor Spears and pulling back. Pretty much free value here, but this is where Slade needs to react very quickly. He needs to have his own Cav up there ready to countercharge anything that does that. Sitting a little bit far back like that certainly isn't going to pay off as he does chase these guys. Harpies, I mean, it is a distraction Carnifex, right? Like, if he has the Harpies distracting these guys and the rest of his force pursues and actually engages here, that could be quite strong. So Harpies are going to be getting on Wild Riders, it looks like. But really, like I said, it's going to come down to the micro here. So Manticore Summon is going to be coming in. Centaur is getting a nice charge here on the Wild Riders with some Harpy support. Now, if they could get some Ungor Spear support and keep the Harpies up in the skies. Oh no, the Harpies actually got Terror Routed off. Now, the problem is that the Glade Lord's going to come in here, probably pop the Helm of Discord, but he's a little bit slow in his reaction here. So Gate Crumper, if he's able to kill these two pockets, like a Faded Buna, like, that's the thing. If the Beastmen catch you, they're gonna get that ass. So Faded Buna going down right here. Wild Riders are broken. They're probably gonna run off the battlefield. The other group's gonna break as well. So honestly, pretty good play here so far from the Gate Crumper. It looks like he's caught many aspects of the build, and if he is able to win this game, players can't play the same factions twice, so there won't be any more Wood Elves or High Elves. So here you can see there's going to be a mass engagement here. The Beastmen swarming in. Two groups of Wild Riders forced off the battlefield immediately. Raiders shooting in against the Glade Lord, and it looks like the Beastmen are just swarming the Beast Herd. I mean, if they can now collapse and get onto the Glade Riders with the Hagman Tips and just keep pursuing, the Manticore is going to be disappearing. I mean, that is a good catch right there. Two Wild Riders off the battlefield is huge. That's like 2,200 gold, give or take. And they're done. They're just dead. So the infantry are continuing to charge here. You can see the summoned Manticore probably will be disappearing here in a moment. There are a couple Harpies that have come back from route as well. And it looks like some of the Chaos Warhounds with Poison have chased to the edge of the map. Now, the Beastmen are pretty far ahead in the Bounce of Power right now. They've actually done pretty well for themselves in that respect. Because again, it looks like he's a little bit trapped by the edge of the map here, and if he were to get these spears and screen these guys out and kind of break their retreat, it's a very micro-intensive thing, but if you can do it, I mean, you can stop Wood Elf skirmishing by using, you know, Centaurs and Harpies and things like this. It's quite good. Now, Centaurs here are going to be getting compromised a little bit by the very tattered Wild Riders, and it looks like these Hagman Tips, I don't think he's quite seen that he has an opportunity to shut these guys down here, and he's kind of lapsing on his micro a little bit. These Centaurs are just sitting here. Those guys need to be fighting and doing the work of the Horned Goat God, or whatever the hell they worship. So it was a good engagement initially, but a little bit of a lax here, and oh, but man, look at the volleys coming in. The Raiders doing some really good damage. Is the Dragon going to be going after Morker? That is the question. Blackhorn Ravagers are going to be coming in as well, and it looks like there's going to be another summon coming down, the second Manticore, which will help. Oh no, that's actually the Chaos Spawn. Chaos Spawn summon coming in. Blackhorn Ravagers going in. Harpies as well. These Centaurs need to act. They can't just sit here. These guys need to be like active. They need to be hustling, bustling, causing problems, you know, taking names, all that stuff. So the Bray Shaman at the back is a little bit open to be sniped. The two casters might go after him. Centaurs in the meantime could collapse over here and maybe shut them down. Chaos Spawn summon, doing some pretty good work. Raiders, honestly, there's a lot of trees on this map too. So if you can kill the Wild Riders, I'm pretty sure the game will basically be over at that point. So right here you can see the game pretty competitive, yeah, to say the least. And you can see the Bray Shaman is alive. There's some Harpies back here in the distance. Just get those Harpies chasing. You need to stress out Lotus's micro. Just have something chasing everything. That's going to be super important here. In the meantime, the Chaos Spawn are going to continue to chase, but they're going to be disappearing here in a moment, which will help normalize the Bounce of Power for the Wood Elves. Some Centaurs have come back here, and they could attack here. Yeah, take this charge. You have some Harpy support. And if the other Centaurs were only like closer, that would be like a game-ending moment. He's playing too defensively, just sitting back here with his archers. The Beastmen have a lot of opportunities to kind of catch these Wood Elf forces, but they keep kind of slipping up a little bit. It's unfortunate for them. Now, Harpies in the meantime could collapse right here onto the Wild Riders, but alas, they're going to be running back here. Chaos Spawn are just going to be hanging out a little bit. And it looks like there's going to be maybe a Breath Attack coming down from the Dragon. Spirit Leech is still a thing too. There still could be Spirit Leeches. And of course, these Raiders are going to be shooting the Dragon, which could do some okay damage. So now the Beastmen have these Hounds. Okay, he's noticed his Hounds are back here. And they could come back here and definitely chase down some of these missile units like the Sisters or the Glade Riders with Hagman Tips. Glade Riders aren't that good in melee combat with the Hagman Tips. Actually, 28, 24, 27. It's not terrible. Harpies up in the sky is going to be getting feasted on by the Bird. The Bird is the word. And the Ungor Raiders, I mean, man, he had a lot of opportunities to catch these guys. But at this point, it's going to be tricky. now that the Wood Elves are able to kind of solidify their forces a little bit. They were scattered and kind of caught off guard in many respects. These Chaos Poison Warhounds could hide in the forest and get a really good jump. Like if the Centaurs were to sweep like this direction and then the Hounds were to come in like a pincer move and kind of catch these guys with their pants down, that could be pretty good. Now we have some Harpies over here. In the meantime, some of the Glade Riders with the Hagman Tips and a Dragon going to be chasing off Ungor Spearmen, which is fine. And the Centaurs cannot sit. They need to chase. They need to be pursuing. They need to be aggressive. Yeah. And Warhounds do get an engagement here, which is good, but it's just like the timing's a little bit off, right? Like he had the advantage here. Like the Centaur should have been collapsing with those Hounds. Instead, he's playing very, very defensively here. Yeah, man, he needs to get aggressive. I mean, he could just wait it out, because Lotus Moon doesn't have much ammo left. He has some on the Hagman Tips, but the Centaurs, they are shielded, but they're not going to be great for like taking those type of shots. Now, he's going to be taking that defensive posture. He's still slightly ahead on the bounce of power, but this is giving the Wood Elves time to come back here, I think. Yeah, I don't have debug camera. No, I don't use debug camera. I know somebody in chat was asking that. So the Centaur is going to be just kind of hanging out, taking a couple shots from these guys. I mean, they are shielded, but still, like, they should be back here in the forest, and the Spearmen should be screening out. Just waste the ammo. It's not that much, and it's not going to do that much damage, but just taking these free shots like this is not going to be good. Now, he is getting some counterfire onto the Glade Lord here, which is good, and it looks like the Raiders might get another volley, but yeah, man, this is painful to watch, seeing those guys take those shots like that. He needs to fall back. He still does have a Deathcaster. I don't know what he has in the way. I mean, his start was so good. He was able to catch those Wild Riders. Now, he's still in this game for sure. There's Destroyers of Drakwold, Morkers here. I mean, a lot of these characters are quite beat up here, but letting these Centaurs get pounded is not good. So he's going to be shooting in here. It looks like there's going to be a charge coming in. Centaurs are going to be taking the charge. The Beast Herd is going to be countercharging as well. And it looks like there's going to be a Fate of Buna going down on the Wild Riders there, which will probably finish those guys off. The Ungor Spearmen are going to be jumping in. Helm of Discord is going to be making some okay contact, but certainly nothing to write home about. And the Beastmen infantry have saturated into the Elves. Now, a second Manticore summon has come down, which has affected the bounce power in favor of the Wood Elves. But again, it's going to be disappearing relatively soon, and the Wood Elves are taking quite a bit of damage here on the engagement because of these spears, and a lot of these missile units are still shooting. The Glade Riders are getting worn down, and the Blackhorn Ravagers are also killing the Hagman Tips on this side. Another charge is going to be coming in. Manticore Summon is going to be disappearing here in about 40 seconds, give or take. Morkur the Shadowgave needs to swing in here. I mean, this entire army for the Wood Elves is mainly just Hagman Tips. There's not a lot of like teeth in this army in reality. The Beastmen, like spears, should be able to hold okay. I mean, Terror is going to become an issue. And another Spirit Leech is going to be going down on the Glade Lord here, which is going to do some damage. And Bounce of Power is just pretty much dead even at this point. But once that Manticore does disappear, that's going to be pretty substantial. And the Chaos Spawn also have come in. So the Chaos Spawn are going to be able to chew through a lot of these troops. Morkur getting in there with his Pimp Claw on the Dragon, doing some okay damage. Earthblood going down as well. We do have a Brace Shaman with the Lore of Death, and there was a question here. Yeah, Cygor would have been really good, like I said. Cygor would have been incredibly powerful. Yeah. So right now you can see that the Brace Shaman and company are going to be holding on top of the Destroyers of Drakwold, which is going to be strong. And that Manticore should be disappearing here in just a moment. Chaos Spawn are going to be chasing these guys off. And let's see what else he's got. Harpies and the Forest, does he have anything? It's really going to be Morkur versus the World. That Manticore is gone. So the Manticore summon is gone. The summons are pretty much all out of the picture. The Chaos Spawn will be disappearing in a second. So both players are pretty much what you see is what you got. And I think the Space Marines have this. He needs to stay a little bit higher and tighter. Honestly, if he wants to, he could stand right here on the edge of the forest too, which would penalize a lot of the Wood Elf forces that are fighting here. So the Destroyers of Drakwold need to get over there and fight. He does also have Morkur the Shadowgave to kind of swing over there, but it looks like he's kind of just letting his forces go at this point, which is unfortunate because honestly he had this game. Like this game and the other game, he was in really good shape, but yeah, now his caster's gone. It's Morkur basically with some Haggard Spears. I mean, they are the Destroyers of Drakwold, but they're still two Great Eagles plus a Dragon. I don't think Morkur is going to be able to kind of solo those guys, so the Dragon is going to be jumping in. Now, if they are able to hold and Morkur is able to get a couple attacks, maybe, but there's no way. That's such an onslaught with Helm of Discord. There are some troops coming back in as well, but I think that's going to be it. I think that is going to be it. Morkur the Shadowgave's trying. Yeah, his start was really good too. It was really good. He caught, he was so far ahead, but just a couple lapses with the Centaurs, I think really cost him the game. He could have taken that one, I think. Yeah. So fight's still here. Morkur the Shadowgave going to be going, and I think that's going to be GG as the Glade Lord is going to be going down. Not Glade Lord, excuse me. Morkur the Shadowgave is going to be going down to the Dragon. He is weak to fire, And the dragon does not do fire damage. It's actually a force dragon, so it does poison. Yeah, for some reason I thought it did fire damage, but Orcra still could be tough to kill here. I mean, the Wood Elves, all they have left is like just Missile Cav. Like just beat up Missile Cav who are out of ammo. The Centaur is like being sacrificed earlier. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And with that, you can see that the Moo Cow, Mooker, the Shadow Gave, is going to be going down. That'll be all she wrote. Man, his start was so good too with the Fate Buna and like catching the Wild Riders. That like in many circumstances would just win you the game right there. All right, so it is best of 5. The players can of course choose to end it on a best of 3 if they both want to, but we'll see what they want to do. And so Get Crumper says, "You're a very skilled player, much better than me." Ah, good sportsmanship. See. If you want to arrange a melee matchup, I can tell you which factions I want. Okay. They're going to be going to game 3. Some good sportsmanship despite frustration, I'm sure. It is hard to play against that style of play, but it's something that if you want to be a top-level tournament player, you have to be able to beat it. Slade obviously is a top-level player with the factions he specializes in, but of course it's very tough to deal with that style of play. A Cygor is incredibly good because you form a barrier around the Cygor. You have like layers, and the longer they don't kill the Cygor, the more of the Wild Riders and other guys are going to be dying. So we're in game 3. Yeah, he really had a good start there. So we're going to be on Iron Sand Desert. So we will see what the matchup's going to be. Lotus Moon actually has said he's going to play a faction that he will not. He's not going to do like a cav build with. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean his aggression was so good and his build was good too. It's just a couple lapses. Like even at the end he was ahead, but letting those Centaurs get shot to pieces, like they should have been hiding in the trees. He needed that mobility. Man, it was definitely a shame there. So Lotus says, I'll go Dark Elves. Yeah, they're working out the matchups right now. Yeah, I don't know. It's easy to lose track of all your cav units, honestly. Especially when you're having to micro like crazy against like all these different units and stuff. All right, 1 second, guys. And thank you for the donation from Christopher on PayPal. I just saw that come through. Thank you for the 20 Great British Pounds. Thank you, man. I do appreciate it. Oh, Screen Blocker? Oh, he still has the same army from before, so thankfully it's not too late. We're good. We're good. He hasn't picked the army yet. All right. So... Oof. It's going to be Chaos versus... well, Vampire... there's certainly not going to be Missile Cav, right? With the Vampire counts. Iron Sand Desert is the next map. And let's see how it goes. Of course, the winner of today is going to be carving their name into the tablet of Tehenwin. Zyphos, El Halcon, Falcon, Romulan Zog, Reja, and Chief. Some serious competition coming in today. Thank you, Misha, for the Discord message, saving the screen blocker. The unblocked screen was burning my eyes. The Senate approves. Yeah, honestly, it used to be a horde matchup, but I think Chaos has evolved in a way that they can actually win this. So we'll see. We'll see what Gear Crumper brings. We're on Iron Sand Desert. Iron Sand Desert. I told him up above, I think. All right. And we'll see what happens. Well, I don't know. The games have been starting pretty quick, so... And we're on the Iron Sand Desert. No, not the next episode. We have one more regular Eternal Challenger League. Technozon, thank you, man, for the $2 donation. Appreciate that. Yeah, that last game, I think Slade had that one. He had it. I think He really had a masterful initial engagement, punishing the Wild Riders while distracting the dragon with the Harpies. It was beautiful, and he pulled massively ahead in the bounce because of it, but it seemed like it just lapsed after that. Yeah. Execute Order 66. We'll see what he brings. It is best of 5, so if Lotus wins this, he will be advancing to the finals. Yeah, Wicked D, if you could drop a Discord link here for folks, that would be very helpful. The vampire counts suddenly grow missile. They suddenly come with skeleton archers. Like, what the hell? What's happening? Thank you, Misha. Thank you, Wicked. And if you guys want, join the Discord there. I'm pretty slow to respond in Discord because typing is very painful for me, so bear with me if I don't get back to you quick, but yeah. A batting ring for ECL. Yeah, oh man. Oh man, this build from Get Crumper. Oh my god. Why aren't there repeat winners? Well, because each week of the Eternal Challenger League has 4 different players in their qualifiers. They're qualifying for a grand tournament, which is at the end of the season. The next one is going to be the 8th and final qualifier, at which point we'll have 8 players, and then all those 8 players will then play in a big 8-man tournament. They did change the map. We're on the Iron Sand Desert. Doesn't really matter because obviously it's... I feel like Lotus will probably come in with like a Mortis engine, like Terrorgeist, and like 2 Blood Knights. I do not know how to feel about Get Crumper's build. And the great lore master of Sotek has just informed me he'll be playing in the next Eternal Challenger League. I don't know when that's going to be, but we'll find out. Speech to text instead of typing? Yeah, I don't know. My brain doesn't work like that. It's really tough and frustrating. I mean, I can still type okay, but it's like... yeah, I'll try and get Toothsayer in. He's got a busier schedule, but... Yeah, oh yeah. Well, playing against like Cav Kite builds is kind of like playing against Eldar Flying Lists and Warhammer 40k. It's like a fact of life. You have to know how to deal with it, but it's not always the most fun to play against. But it can be actually. Honestly, I like those kind of games because they're super intense to play, like fast-paced, intense. Like they can be, but they can devolve into something that's not a little bit unfun to watch. So I understand both sides of the coin. But you know, we showcase all styles here, boys. Chaos coming in with a very, very strange build. I do not know how this is going to go for the Get Crumper. It's a very experimental build, to say the least, but I'm excited to see it. Yes, yes. We are in Game 3 of the finals. Correct. And, oh, we're still on the tablet. I was like, we've just been sitting here for like 5 minutes. Yeah, in the last Eternal Challenger League, Lotusman played Falcon in the semifinals, and Falcon won 2-1. It was a very close series, though. It was very, very good. John H. Stevens, thank you. Thanks for the content, Turin. I'm new to the game, but I learned a lot here, including from this tournament. Well, glad to see, man. You're getting to see a lot of different playstyles, for sure. You just got to message me on Discord, but also I'm only going to have people who have some tournament experience, you know, who've competed in community tournaments or are pretty well ranked on ladder and want to get into the scene because, you know, obviously we have pretty high level players here, and just for the sake of spectators, we want to, you know, keep it pretty, you know, as evenly matched as we can. It's obviously hard because, you know, not everyone's available and not everyone is going to have all evenly matched players, but we try. Here we go. Yes, there's going to be trolls most likely. Yeah, Chaos doesn't have a terrible matchup here. It used to be a hard counter, but I think some things have changed, like nerfs to Mortis engines and a couple other things like that. So we're going to see how it goes. So, ooh, that is nasty, nasty. But I mean, this build is something. All right, so we got rid of the screen blocker. Now, for the forces, I'm surprised there's no Dragon Ogre Shagus, but the main army is Forsaken. Okay, So we got Forsaken, something you don't see terribly often. High DPS, able to burn through chaff very quickly, but against they crumble rather quickly to any sort of pressure. But Forsaken are a very cool unit. He's got 4 trolls, and Archeon's going to be coming in with the Helm of Domination, or the Crown of Domination, whatever the hell it's called, giving immune to Psych to all the trolls, potentially. So that is going to be strong if he's able to stay in that Death Star. Archeon, for anyone who doesn't know, has an item called the Crown of Domination. Yeah, so it gives leadership and immune to Psych. So all trolls in that aura, they have to stay there. Otherwise, they're going to get terrorized by the vampires too quick. So he's got 2 giants as well, and that is pretty much it. Now, for the forces of Lotus Moon, pretty standard. He's got Skeleton Warriors, like just Chaff, Mortis Engine, 1 group of Blood Knights, 2 Fellbats, double Terrorgeist, and Manfred. This is like a very, very cookie-cutter Vampire Count versus Chaos build. It's good. Terrorgeist bring the anti-large. The Mortis Engine kills the infantry. It's hard for Chaos to deal with. Granted, it's going to come down to the giant play, although, man, I don't know. I don't know. This is like, I feel like this Chaos build is going to get run over. It's because the trolls, if they don't stay right next to Archeon, are going to get buckled and chased off the battlefield by Fellbats. Like, because he'll break them with the Terrorgeist and then go with the Fellbats. Manfred popping the Master of the Black Arts here. The Forsaken are going to be pushing through. And, you know, we're going to see Slade X go out like a true hero of the people. Yes, yes. And here comes the Giant. Going to be getting that sweet, sweet Spirit Leash right here on Archeon, Everchosen. And Archeon's going to respond with the Fireball, tit for tat. Manfred is able to juke that. Archeon a little bit slower on foot, obviously. And the Vampires are going to be surging forth. And you can see the Warriors of Chaos obviously need to take this fight ASAP. Archeon is like, he's pretty easy to snipe. I mean, having him on horse, I think in this matchup might be a little better. Granted, on foot, he's, yeah, Breath Attack's doing some pretty good work. So Blood Knights charge into the front, get a nice little lancing charge here into the Forsaken. And the Forsaken, obviously not happy about that. But they do punch back a little bit, getting some damage in. Archeon's just going in balls deep. He's like, screw this shit. I'm charging. I don't care about anything. Forsaken going to be surging in as well. And, I mean, the Vampire Count Chaff will die very quickly. Forsaken are excellent at killing lightly armored, like, trash units. They have, like, 60-plus weapon strength. Trolls are getting in there as well. They need to stay with Archeon, though, because if they don't, it's going to be game blouses. The Giants a little bit behind, so Army a little bit disconjointed. But nonetheless, the Blood Knights are actually taking some pounds on here from the Forsaken and the Trolls. So, yeah, the Trolls have to stay with Archeon, or else they're going to get mass terror-routed. Like, it's not going to be good. Trolls surging into the Terrorgeist as well. Forsaken, steady, still fighting. Some of the Trolls are already broken and terrified, which is not a surprise. But you have to play, like, the counter Death Star against Vampires, in my opinion. I still think Warp Chicken is probably the best pick for Final Transmutation against the Klob Nagash and, like, this big blob. But Archeon casting the Flaming Sword of Ruin, it's going to make this army very, very nasty. They're all going to be hitting very hard. And you can see the Giant clubbing that Terrorgeist, just giving him the mean D right there. And over on the flank, we have Trolls fighting Blood Knights. Not a good engagement for those guys. They probably want to pull back. But, I mean, you know, all the shafts running out. This Giant needs to surge in as well. They need to, like, stay high and tight and just, like, defend Archeon. Archeon is, like, you know, he took an initial beating, but he should be somewhat tanky now. So yeah, Mortis Engine is going to be getting attacked by the Giant. This other Giant needs to come in here. They need to stack on Archeon. It's literally their only chance of having, you know, a chance in this game. Because it's already a hard matchup for the Warriors of Chaos. And, you know, Get Crumper could have banned the Vampire counts, but he chose not to do any bans. So, you know, if I were to play Chaos, I would probably ban them. But, so the Chaos Giant's going to be continuing to attack here. The Terrorgeist is going to be jumping in. The Trolls, like I said, are immune to Psych when they're near Archeon. This one Giant's doing a pretty good job beating down the Klob Nagash. On the other side, we have a Giant fighting this Terrorgeist, Forsaken fighting Blood Knights. But like I said, the Trolls just getting pushed off. And it looks like Slade X did actually completely forget a group of Forsaken in the back. So those guys, unfortunately, are going to be Forsaken, as their name would infer. Giant's still fighting here, but Trolls are just such a risky pick against Vampires. They just break so quickly. Yeah, double Terrorgeist is very, very standard. So the Trolls is going to break here. The Giants are pretty much the last bastion. There still are some Forsaken coming back in, which could do some okay work. Archeon's still going pretty strong, actually. He's been in here fighting, casting the Flaming Sword of Ruin on these big targets. The Giant needs to turn around and hit that Mortis Engine. It looks like its AI got switched up a little bit. Now, there are some Trolls coming back in. Another wave of Forsaken are going to be coming back in as well. But, I mean, the Giants are doing really good. Honestly, had he gone like Halberds and then Giants, he might actually be able to win this. But the fact that he brought the Forsaken just don't last well. They're just not durable. They just you need durability against Vampire counts. You can't go for burst. It's really hard to burst them down, in my opinion, with infantry. You can burst them with like monsters and things like that. So Archeon Everchosen going to be taken out by Manfred. End times count 2 or part 2. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. I think Vampires are going to take that. So a quick series, but you know that's how it goes sometimes, guys. We had some very good games early on, but alas, the Forsaken Trolls are both units that, on paper, are quite terrible against Chaos, or Vampire counts. But, I mean, he tried to make them work. You gotta give him props for that. Giant's still clubbing in there. The Mortis Engine's almost dead. He does have some Trolls coming back in and a Giant as well. Vampires are committing to the Alpha Strike here. The other Giants just kind of been sitting over here beating on some of these periphery units, but it's okay. It's part of life here. So this Giant's going to be surging in, but that's going to be all she wrote. And that's GG. So with that, Lotus Moon is going to be qualifying. So let's go ahead and update the scoreboard here. And yeah, so he's going to be qualifying. So we don't need the screen blocker anymore. So he went out. He went out as he came into this world with a meme with Grimgor, and he went out with a meme using a Forsaken Rush build with Trolls against Vampire Counts. And he tried, but, you know, came up short. The Trolls came in with the steel chair, but you can't win them all. But good try, Slade. Certainly a true hero of the people. He brought Grimgor today. He had some very good games. Arguably, he could have won the first 2 games. They were very, very close. But yeah, he put on a good show today. So let's hear a big round of applause for Slade X. And also, Lotus Moon is going to be advancing to the final. So congratulations there. And let us go ahead and update the tablet of Tahanowin. All right, so let's get that text. We're adding it. We're adding it. We got to make sure it's the right font. So perhaps we'll have a rematch between Falcon and Lotus Moon. We will see. We will see. Yeah, no, and also thank you, Slade, for playing through the games. I know that certain playstyles you may not like playing against, but I do appreciate you finishing out the games. It does mean a lot for everyone watching. And hey, we got to see Archeon and Trolls. Just getting in there, doing the dirty. Both players have left. Well, I was going to say GG, but the end times never happen. It's a myth. All right, guys. So that's it. We got one more qualifier. Thank you guys so much for joining today. We had some really good games. I know the ending might have been a little bit lackluster compared to last week. They can't all be like that, right? That was like last week was like next level, just legendary gameplay. But yeah, that was crazy. Falcon says easy now. He says easy. So guys, we have hype for a Falcon versus Lotus Moon rematch. Yeah, the finals are looking spicy. Hell yeah! Look at this. Look at the tablet. Zyphos, El Halcon, Falcon, Romulan Dog, Wareja, Chief, and Lotus Moon right now. That is some serious competition. That is some balls deep competition. So the next ECL, I'll make an announcement on the my Twitter as well as the community section. I forgot the community section today, but if you're in the Discord as well, I always post it in there. It'll probably be like mid next week, like Wednesday, I'm thinking. No. I'm actually just going to be starting Eternal Challenger like quicker just because I have so much fun with it. Yeah, last week was pretty hard to beat. We got some Falcon hype in chat. I feel like we should have jerseys, you know, for all the players. Yeah. You guys want Falcon jerseys? Lore Master of Sotek, take care. That is a solid list. That is a solid list. Yeah, so in the next one I'm going to be trying to get... I'll try and get Soothsayer in if he's available. Yeah, he's usually pretty busy, but we'll get Sooth in there. Oh my god, Soothsayer on this list, that would be nasty. Then we'd have like a rematch of the Everchosen potentially. Oh, there'll be some solid players, don't worry, for next week. So, on that note, congratulations to Lotus. Oh, we forgot to change this. There you go. Slade X played a great game. Obviously a very tough opponent. And honestly, playstyles is a big part of it. His playstyles may not be conducive to playing against Lotuses. It really is a big thing. There's like certain high-level players I can actually beat consistently. But then there's some I just really struggle against. Again, because of their playstyle. So it's part of it. Also, Subutai, thank you for playing today and Energized. Some very, very good games. They were very solid. And really looking forward to seeing the future games. So guys, that's it for today. Let's give a big shout out for all the donations. Thank you guys so much. John H. Stevens coming in with the steel chair. Technozon, John Eckerstrom, Borge, Magnum Knights, Mads Rasmussen, Tamontin. We had Johan coming in with the fat 200 SCK. Italian Spartacus, the man, the myth, the legend himself. We got the Spirit of Gorg, which is one of my favorite names. I don't know what it means, but it's awesome. Italian Spartacus again. Giulio Rosano. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't quite read it. My laptop's very small screen. Spirit of Gorg again. Grant and Son of Gondor for sponsoring the channel. You guys are awesome. Until next week, we will see you. We'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks for watching, and cheers.